them chips, nigga, rap snacks. Face all in a box, nigga, Snapchat. Fucking with the ops to get you clapped. No cap, nigga, rap.
Stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Yeah. Yeah. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Since I was born, been stacking my coin.
Happy New Year! Let's get it cracking, ladies and gentlemen! Rice TVX, Crypto Blood, a year-end review of crypto in 2022. A year to never, ever forget. I don't think any of you are going to forget this one. This is going to put some hair on your chest, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you. All right, like, share, and subscribe. We're going to get started here in a second. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but we got through them. That's how we did 2022. We got through it, ladies and gents. So hold on tight. Hit the thumbs up. This is going to be a live, uncut, unraw, as you guys know I say, with Rice TVX and Crypto Blood. Happy New Year again. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
Smoking on that crippy got me cliff high. Steam pot, heat rock, slingshot. Surfing through the city while them chips rise. Hot boy, do it big time. Element with my summer bay, we booed up. Cali hit the bay, we fly MIA, we pulled up. Sipping on this drink, bitch, I know the way. We juiced up, nigga violate till it's JFK like your roof up.
Let's get ready to rumble!
This episode is brought to you by FairDesk, a crypto derivatives trading platform founded by 6 former Binance execs and 3 former Morgan Stanley architects. FairDesk is a company focused on building a platform that enables traders to profit from both rising and falling markets. Sign up today and CB will credit you up to $600 in trading funds. For more information, visit fairdesk.com, link in the description below.
These niggas pop, my money keep growing. Your girl is a dot, she all on my groin. She blowing my horn, we fuck like porn. These rappers is whack, they lyrics are corn. I'm getting this money, it never get born. It never get
Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Okay. Ready?
Fucking thing sucks! We'll do it live.
Okay. Yes, indeed. We are doing it live, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year's Eve. My man Rice. Nobody better but to bring it in with my man Rice. What's going on, Rice?
What's up, man? What's up, man? From another mother.
Yes, sir. You already know. A round of applause for Rice TVX.
Would you make sure that echoes not there?
Ah, got the echo.
I so much appreciate you so much, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We are doing a joint collaborative live stream on both of our YouTube channels. So if you guys are watching us on Rice TVX, make sure you guys are subscribed over at CBTV Crypto Blood. And if you're watching on Crypto Blood channel and you're not already subscribed to my channel, head over to Rice TVX and make sure you're subscribed. And like you said, man, I think 2022 is definitely going to be a year that we're not going to forget. And I don't think the mainstream media is going to let people forget for a while either. It's just going to, they're going to be using this it'll just be one more tool in the arsenal to try to talk negatively about crypto. even though we know that what took place this year in a lot of the negative situations with downfalls of entities from Terra Luna to Celsius to Voyager to FTX, it had nothing to do with our technologies that we promote here, the cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies. It's
actually the antithesis.
error.
It's the absolute opposite.
Human error. And the one commonality with all the above mentioned is basically centralization. So, it should be an education lesson for people also. And then the other thing too is this is the year that people actually started taking self-custody seriously, which, and that's a
so
big
there's a silver lining out there, guys. There's something for us positive to grab from this.
There's always something positive. You just have to look. Sometimes you can't see it while it's happening, especially if you were one of those users and happen to lose out, unfortunately. But people should know the risks. We try our best as content creators to make sure that we're warning people, of what the risks are, and make sure that people are educated as to what those risks are so that they can mitigate those situations as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Before getting started here, guys, just a real quick announcement. Bloodalytics.com. Check it out. Link in the description below. Look.
Every time I see that, I keep thinking of Hollywood.
Hollywood?
It says Huddle Blood, but it looks like Hollywood almost.
Oh, that's funny.
Because of the way the V and the line comes through, I just automatically my brain wants to see
that's
Hollywood.
Funny. Well, that's hilarious. Bloodalytics.com, Huddle versus Blood. You see the results there. That's since August 15th of this year. Sign up if you guys are interested, because today is the last day you can sign up for that lifetime subscription at 40% off. So after today,
that's what's up.
Yeah, no, after today, no lifetime subscription at all. You won't see that bad boy for a while. So take advantage of it if you can. If you can't, 6-month and 12-month subscriptions are 50% off if you sign up with the link below with Fairdesk. That is my partner with Bloodalytics. They are great. Even if you're not using Bloodalytics, check it out. But send me your UID number after depositing at least $1,000 into your account, and I will definitely give you a 50% off promo code for that.
The one thing I want to let people know is I'm going to be with some of the changes that have been happening with my channel. I'm going to be doing some more trading type stuff. We both have had like Garrett Soloway on, but I want to get Crypto Face on because I like what he's doing with his market cipher. I've got an affiliate link for that, affiliate link with Bloodalytics. And so I'm going to try to be a little bit more active with the trading, and I'm going to actually get everything set up. Fairdesk has reached out to me. I need to get back in touch with them. Good. And I'm going to start trying to utilize.
They're legit though, bro.
Your guys. Well, I'm going to start utilizing your tools and other tools that are available, and start being very public with it so that my audience can, jump on board and try to follow suit with some of these things. Because in a bear market, if you can utilize your quant trading bot with seeing the profits that you've already had versus what the market is doing naturally, it's definitely beneficial. So I would definitely encourage people to check it out.
No lie.
We don't shill bullshit.
No, hell no. The thing is though, in a full out like bull market, just holding Bitcoin, like in the last bull market we had, was just insane, right? Without leverage, like if you have leverage, you'll still be able to outpace Bitcoin in the bull market. But boy, when that bear market hits, man, if you're just hodling, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose all that game.
Sideways, back and forth crab walk. Because we've been ranging between pretty much right 16 now and 17.
Yeah, right now it's absolutely horrible. I want to show you guys Mr. Rice, his website and his Yeah, we're gonna show that in a second too. I got mine right here.
Okay.
But Rice TVX. Yeah, Rice TVX. Go check him out, guys. That is ricetvx.com. He has all of his socials up across the top, so you can contact him 100 different ways to Sunday.
Yeah, well, you got links to both of the YouTube channels. My new YouTube channel, Rice Against the Grain. Then you got the Rice TV. I got my Patreon, Rumble, Odyssey. Then my social media, which includes Twitter, True Social, and Float.app. I'm a big proponent of Float because they are promoting free speech and allowing for that on the platform. And we need more social media platforms that are promoting free speech.
Yeah, and I'm on Rumble as well, ladies and gents. So get over there. 77 subscribers. We had a successful live stream, Rice and I, with his uncensored series. I was is that episode 3 or just part that was, I don't know if that was episode 3 or what was that?
Yeah, no, I was your third one. We've done 3 of them together. Yesterday when I did my channel review, I was talking about all the uncensored videos that I did and mentioned the 3 that we did because I did one right after you with a friend of mine, Rob Harris, but those are the 2 most recent. Was part 3 that we did, episode 3, and then with Rob. So yeah, I mean, again, we've talked about it. We've kind of teased, me and you are going to be starting a show that we're going to be doing. That's not necessarily crypto. It's just going to be wherever the topic takes us, kind of giving us more of an opportunity.
Broaden our audience, because I think that's a strategy that Rice and I are both going to use and try to employ in 23. And we'll talk about our, if you want to call them New Year's resolution. I don't do those. I don't even look at life as in the cycle of the Gregorian calendar.
No, because January technically wasn't the beginning of the year before. I think March might have.
Gregorian, yeah.
I think March might have been the beginning of the year. So our history is so screwed up. Yeah, it's
so
you should always be striving to be a better you. That's what practice change is about. So you can do that daily. Learn from all the things that you do. You don't have to do it on a yearly basis. It's more effective if you do it every day. Because
on a daily basis, right? Have a new day resolution, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. A new day resolution.
Yeah, man. I can't stand that stuff, man.
So you got your belt?
I got my belt, ladies and gents.
Shout out to Adam Charles.
Adam, definitely. Boom. Look at that. And it's got our names on it, so this is no,
No, these are real nice belts too. Stuff. We're going to represent as the tag team champions of the world.
And Big Connect.
Yeah. I love it, though. Shout out to Mr. Adam Charles and Charles Adam and Viral Nation.
Only guy I know that has 2 last names or 2 first names. He's got 2 first names. You gotta watch out for those fools that got 2 first names, ladies. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, shout out to Adam Charles. Now you got me confused. I don't know which is who
is who.
Who is who? Let me get some of these. I don't know if you can. You probably. That's the only thing about simulcasting. You can't see your chat room, so I hope you got your chat room up, Rice. But
we gotta. I want to get. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt, as I always do. I want to get in touch with StreamYard and try to find out what we can do to fix that, because we should be able to, since we both have StreamYard accounts, we should be able to connect. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you can have team members so they can run things for you.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen where we can do what we're doing, but we have to use the custom. The only other way that I know we could do this is if we add each other to each other's channels as editors or something like that. That gives us permission for the live stream settings, because I've done that before with another channel. But that would be the only way.
That would still not allow the chat room to show up.
It would aggregate, because it would aggregate all of the chats that basically anything that's not a custom, that has its own kind of logo or whatever, because like Facebook, you just connect Facebook. YouTube, you connect. Anything like that, it'll aggregate all the different chats together in one chat. You won't know where they're coming from.
I got you.
That's the only confusing thing too.
Really quickly, let me see if I can do it this way, because I it's the end of the year, and I want to. It looks like I can. All right, so let me do this really quickly.
What are we doing?
So they can. I want to just shout out all my paying YouTube members. First, Voice Crypto. You got your sake ready?
Got my rice wine.
Your rice wine. Shout out to Voice Crypto, YouTube premium member. He said Richard Hart arrested in 2023. I'm calling it now. I'm always right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with you. What do you think about that? I think he's gonna be.
He has to come to the United States first. I don't think that they're going to extradite Richard Hart. And Richard Hart seems to be pretty smart.
Where does he live?
Not in the United States. I'm pretty sure the UK. But even with it being the UK, here's the thing. I think he's covered his ass pretty damn well. I was talking to him when he created Hex, how many different audits he was going through, all the things he was paying for out of pocket, and all the things that, as far as the minting of the coins. I'm not sure, man. So far, they're going after, I guess, paid promoters is what I'm seeing. There's an SEC, and I don't know if it's actually a lawsuit or an investigation.
But come on now, if they go after the paid promoters, they're definitely going to go after the creator of the said paid promotion scam. I'm not calling it a scam. I'm just saying that's what,
because there's definitely, in order for something to be a scam, there has to be victims, and I'm not really sure what Richard Hart did to have a security offering. I don't think that I think he is a smart dude. If he didn't cover his ass well enough to not be getting caught up, I would be really surprised. Let
me ask you this: is Reggie Middleton a smart dude?
Yeah, but Richie Middleton doesn't have the money that Richard Hart has right now. But I'm saying
he came.
So if Reggie Middleton had money like Richard Hart has right now, that SEC suit would have went differently.
I disagree.
He would have fought. I mean, he would have fought.
Yeah, he would have fought, but
instead of like he had to basically. It sucks to say, but he just basically had to give in to the man. There was nothing he could do because he couldn't afford to fight them.
He was a billionaire on paper when he was going through the suit with them. They seized his stuff at the end. When the verdict came out, he had to turn over the 98 million Veritasium.
Yeah, no, but he did an ICO. Technically, what Richard Hart didn't do was not an ICO.
So it's not just ICO. See, he promoted Hex as some type of financial return.
He promoted it as basically, because I think I've heard you say that you weren't really super familiar, but the basic concept is like a CD that you would have at a bank, somehow being transferred to a blockchain version, but it's very long term. So it's, a lot of these people were locking up their Hex for multiple years. And when you think about the cryptocurrency space, I mean, think about how much just took place in this year that we're talking about in this review. And look how much goes on. So, holding cryptocurrency in a stake that you can't get out for multiple years is like a lifetime in crypto. It's almost like what you would think of as how a mortgage is, like something you're paying for the rest of your life. The opposite, though, because you're not going to be able to unstake without a penalty. The only thing that I thought was really fishy about the whole Hex thing was, aside from allowing people to mint their own Hex, which was based off of holding Bitcoin at a certain time stamp. So whatever you held, you could go and mint your own coins and create your own Hex, and the Hex were only created by you doing it. The questionable thing is when he allowed for the Hex to be kind of sold, almost like a one-way exchange for Ethereum for Hex.
Yeah.
And where was the Ethereum going to? Who had the Ethereum? Again, I really think he covered his ass well. So I'm going to be paying attention to this. And the SEC
I'm with Voice. I'm with Voice. He's going to be arrested. They're not playing games anymore, bro. And we'll talk about that, like what 23 and beyond looks like for crypto, because the stage is set. Really quickly though, Voice Crypto, Bit Source AML Solutions. That's my guy out of Ohio. Go Blue though. I'm just going to let you know. Go Blue. Who else we got in here as a YouTube premium member? I think that's all I see right now. I just want to give a shout out to them because, listen, you guys go above and beyond. Just your attention alone. Your time is more valuable than even your money. But I appreciate you guys going above and beyond that to support CBTV and become a paid member. So shout out to all my paying members out there. And this is the list. I'm going to start from the bottom. Big Curious Mom. She's the longest running member. 35 months. That is, man.
That's nice.
I appreciate, no doubt. Let me round of applause for her. We got James Hansen, R. Crone, LMC, Casey, Cody Jacoby, the Hip Hop Gems, J Crypto Minded. Some of these people are even Bloodalytics members as well. J Crypto Minded being one, Casey being one, Big Curious Mom. We got Chavez, Thomas, Big O, Chronic Chaos, Big Source AML, just mentioned him. Mr. Richie JR, the Tech Geek, Chance Williams, Mark Belsky, Esti?
Asti?
Benoit? Asti? Benoit?
Benoit.
Benoit.
Yeah, there was a
Benoit.
wrestler, Chris Benoit. Spelled.
Thank you.
It's a French spelling.
Okay, we got some French kissing up in this month. Kenton, Voice Crypto, Calvin 3X, that's Calvin Leon, Wisdom Bars, Will 45, and Crypto Neck. Man, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. That is real talk, man.
You know, yesterday I forgot what you were talking about, but there was something that was posted from a guy. His name was Bowtied Iguana. And when you were reading it,
yes, I didn't know how to pronounce his name.
It's because he had it all as like one word, but it was bow-tied iguana, and I think you call it said something like bow-tied. It was really weird because I could understand you were trying to read it phonetically as one because it was all together, and I was gonna message you and tell you it was a bow-tied iguana.
yeah, I was trying to, bro. You ever see that in the chat rooms? You see people's names and you're on the fly trying to read them.
Oh yeah,
you just butcher it.
A couple times I do butcher, and I apologize. I try my best. Yeah, you definitely got to shout out to people that go above and beyond.
Got to.
I appreciate my patrons. I appreciate all the people that I'm putting together a private website, and I'm doing a fundraiser, and I've got about 15 or 16 people so far that have paid to help me out to build this thing. So, without our communities, man, we're nothing. We're just running our mouth.
We're just trying to get our community bigger. We appreciate the community we have, to date. But 23, we're going to turn it up. Rice and I are going to be doing some alternative content. Of course, crypto is always going to be something that is relatable in many of the topics we're going to talk about in the new year. On whatever channel we do, but.
You said it several times, and I would agree. I mean, when we have some conversations, I think some of the things that we talk about kind of is some of the best conversations that people are going to hear on the internet podcast. And when we think about some of the bigger names, like your Joe Rogan and some of his guests, I mean, I really feel as if what we're talking about and the things that we provide is just as valid, if not sometimes better. And that's why I feel like us doing a show that not necessarily is centric on anything. And that's what I like about someone like Joe Rogan is that he's able to talk about whatever he wants to talk about with whatever guest he wants to bring on. And then you just get to choose whether or not it's something that appeals to you or not. And I appreciate the fact that it's not really fenced in by any sort of niche or subjects, like when I was
on top of that, bro, both of us, I'm not trying to sit here and have a circle jerk, ladies and gents, but I'm just trying to I'm just spitting the truth and knowledge, man. We're ending 2022, just kind of recapping. We're going to start the recap in a minute, but you've interviewed some heavy hitters. You know what I mean? You've interviewed some very influential people in crypto. And I know, but I'm just saying, so it's not like we don't have the network and the capabilities and
and we have all of our peers in the crypto space. I mean, we all seem to look out after each other as a community. I mean, I do want to say, thank you to Ben Armstrong from BitBoy Crypto for bringing, and I think I could say this on your behalf too, for bringing us both on around the blockchain on a regular to be able to help us to be able to grow our channels and get our message to our audience. So, and then we got
gotta lick a shot for Ben. Yes.
We got the twins, Altcoin Daily. We have Crypto Windio, Crypto Crow, Crypto Zombie. There's Debate Crypto, who we became friends with this year. Sin City Crypto. I mean, all these guys, and I know I'm leaving a lot of people out. Mind your biz. It's almost impossible for me to list all of the people that are kind of in our inner circle family of peers. And we all come together to look out for one another to make sure that we're protecting the community and building a trusted network that people can rely upon and get different perspectives from all of the different people, because each and every one of us that I mentioned, plus the others, we are going to reach different people that the others aren't necessarily going to be able to reach. And then it also helps us to get in front of other audience that may not normally, the algorithm may not suggest it, or they may not be familiar with our content. So, you know, I think doing the cross channel live streams and appearing on each other's channels and And again,
why do you think so many people? I see AZTV mention this, and I see a lot of people say this about Ben. And it's just surprising. I don't watch a lot of his content, because I don't watch a lot of crypto content. Period. So I don't pick up on this stuff. But I know him. You know him genuinely as off camera. The guy is a good guy, right?
Yeah.
But why do you think people don't believe a word he says? Believe he's a scam, pumper, and all that? Is it just a product of his success? I think that's what it is. You get so big, bro.
Partially.
That percentage of people that hate you grows. So you may have 1% of the people that follow you or know about you hate you, right? But you have, let's say collectively, you have maybe 50,000 followers. Collectively,
yeah.
Whatever, somewhere around there. Well, if you 10x that, then your haters 10x.
Yeah, now, but I think a lot of it too is based off what you do. So, I'll give a great comparison. Look at Altcoin Daily and look at BitBoy Crypto. Do the twins get hated on? Is there any sort of shit going on with them? And they've grown.
No. But
so the big difference, was. Well, they are more and more now, and they're doing a lot more interviews. Yeah, so their faces are getting on there a lot more. So this year
but Ben is more like us. No shade.
Well, but the big difference though was Ben was doing a lot of paid promotions, and a lot of people got burned on some of those projects. We can't unfortunately control these projects that we try to research and vet. I've researched and vetted projects that ended up.
And they still end up
not doing what they were intending to do. So, and someone like BitBoy, as his channel was growing, with doing sponsored videos of small projects, these coins would move like minimum 50% within
self-fulfilling prophecy
within a 24-hour time period. So, and then there's been a couple things that he did apparently that weren't disclosed. So then, as he started growing, then non-crypto YouTubers started attacking him. So it was a combination of what you said, the popularity. But then if he didn't do any of those things in the background, they wouldn't have had any fuel for the fire. So he gave them plenty of ammunition to work with.
Gotcha.
And then that whole lawsuit thing with Atozi, that kind of really fucked things up for him. Even David Schwartz from Ripple was angry at BitBoy for suing him. And then when Atozi was able to raise the funds, and I don't know the specifics, it's just me speaking. And again, Ben is a friend, but the lawsuit was dropped once Atozi was able to, he basically took donations, did a GoFundMe or something like that, and was able to raise like over $200,000 within 24 hours. And the lawsuit was dropped. Now I feel like he's become the sheriff of crypto.
I call him the Alex Jones of crypto. I was calling him that before.
Yeah, but Alex Jones wasn't a sheriff. This guy is like trying to go around and do like he's like the Punisher, but he's not actually punishing people, but he's like a sheriff, like almost like taking what Ken Bozak was doing a little bit further, because Ken Bozak didn't go to Jorg Molt's house and or try to go to like where he was at and call him a scammer. He saw him at an event and called him a scammer. But Ben is, I feel, trying to make good on his public image. But we know that he's a good dude. I mean, the guy gives money.
Wait a minute. BitBoy Shield Pi coin this morning? No way.
It can't be BitBoy. And is that the stupid MIT coin?
I don't know. I keep seeing it trend on Twitter like crazy, bro. It's been trending all year. I don't understand what it's. You know what Pi coin sounds and looks like? Looks like OneCoin. That big $1 billion.
Well, there's no
scam.
valuation. I mean, I think I came out in 2017 and I had people like pushing it, but it's not on an exchange and doesn't really have any sort of value. And I think they talked about mining with phones, but there's no actual mining that's going on, if I remember correctly.
Crypto Savvy says he's trying too hard.
You got to understand the shit that you got to understand the shit that he went through with. Like, look at what CoffeeZilla did going after and attacking him, and then the whole Atozi thing. I mean, there was a lot of backlash. If you search BitBoy Crypto, I mean, you'll see non-crypto YouTubers that are because it became kind of a trend and a little bit more of a successful video to make a video exposing Ben Armstrong.
Oh yeah, I
So
know.
then you
I know
start, then
some
you
other
start getting all
YouTubers that got into
right.
that.
You
that
catch
cycle.
up, you catch on to somebody who does something that's successful, then it starts
Shout
to
out to
trend for a
Hassan
little
Campbell. That happened
So
to
I
Hassan
mean,
Campbell.
they don't
Like, people
all
started
talk
making
about
a living off of Hassan Campbell and probably BitBoy because the algorithm was like anything BitBoy, anything Hassan Campbell, it's just gonna rocket you to the top.
yeah. I mean, he was buying a car for a single parent every month. Sometimes it was other companies that he would do it with. I think they did it one time with Token Metrics, but buying a vehicle for a single parent, I know they've sponsored softball teams, not even and sports teams for kids that Ben's kids aren't necessarily on or associated with, even in other states where they have little BitBoy crypto logos on their jerseys and stuff. He employs at least 30 people. Up until last month, he was sponsoring my channel for over a year and a half with BitSwap Dex and with BitLab Academy. So, I mean, as much as people want to hate on him, I get to see both perspectives. And I still got nothing but love and respect for Ben.
Mr. Sakila says, when money is involved, all ethics fly out the window. I would like to think people are better, but we just have to look at all the scams in crypto. Greed is human nature. It is human nature to be greedy. It is.
It is.
S. Doyle, BitBoy also said he had an inside guy with XRP Ripple and the case would be over.
I mean, even if you have an inside guy who's giving you information, not everybody knows what the hell is happening.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I mean, you can have some insight and think things are going to be going a certain way, but it's when you get as large as Ben, now even with when he started exposing SBF and FTX and all that stuff, it just started like blowing up, and you get what I'm saying.
I told you off air. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I think I did. I'm like, look, man, Ben better be careful. Like, he's getting a little too barking up some trees.
Now he is. Now he's going further. Now he's going further because now he is he's making some information in regards, like he's trying to expose Circle and Goldman Sachs, and I'm not really sure how that's going to work out for him. He's getting into.
But that's the thing where I disagree with BitBoy is he's going after Circle, Goldman Sachs, but not XRP.
But he's
but he's an XRP Ripple.
Now here's what I will say. I have no problem with anybody buying and trading any specific cryptocurrencies if they have certain strategies in mind. I'm not going to necessarily be a supporter of somebody who's an XRP maxi. But if your idea is you're trying to accumulate more Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies that you believe in, and you're using the idea that buying XRP at a low price with it having a return on your investment and then taking that and stacking more Satoshis, then I'm all game for that. Because that's how you end up getting ahead is being able to take advantage of those arbitrage opportunities. And if and when, because I'm pretty sure that XRP is going to come out of this even either clean or with a settlement, and it's going to be off to the races for XRP. So it's almost a guaranteed win that you're going to see an increase in the price of that coin. Not even financial advice. I think we're going to see all-time highs because we haven't reached those all-time highs in the last bull market due to the SEC case.
See, and back in I think a settlement is going to happen, but they're going to deem it as a security, and it won't be traded in the U.S. No U.S. exchange.
I don't think that'll be the case. I think ultimately, the security aspect will come in from the early days, and they'll say anything current is not a security. And that's what.
Have they ever done that?
John Deaton is doing some amicus brief stuff that is going to be trying to cover that aspect of this. That all the security stuff was in relation to when XRP first started out, like some of their private sales and things to that effect. So they'll get a fine for that, but it won't be deemed as a current security. That would be my opinion, because the U.S. would be really doing something stupid unless XRP.
Oh, like they don't do.
I'm just saying, I know, but
stuff.
I mean, it's going to be utilized by the world banks. It is a fucking partner of the World Economic Forum, and the World Economic Forum has a plethora of banks as partners. It is going to be used as a settlement remittance service. It's a definitive deal. They've got so much happening around the rest of the world that unless they're trying to take out the dollar, the dollar will participate.
Suave House says Ben is compensating for the shilling by overdoing the white knight role. I agree with that too, because he is taking shit too far.
Like there was no reason to go to the Bahamas.
No reason. You know, they were trying to, they were asking me if I wanted to go. I'm like, bruh.
They asked a lot of people, and most people were smart enough to say no.
I'm not lit. It wasn't even on that tip. It's on I don't want to be put on any additional hit list. I don't want
because we're already on enough.
I might be on already. Okay, let me do that on my own merit, not on Big Boy trying to. We all go down there Alex Jones style. I'm like, no,
I get
straight,
it, man.
bro.
I get it. I mean, yeah,
my black ass be the first one headshot while we down.
I mean, when you're calling out, he's calling out I mean, like, I don't have a problem calling out the SEC, but I'm not trying to collect evidence to try to give to law enforcement to find these guys guilty. There's other fucking people out there to do that shit, and it's not my responsibility. I'll just call them out for the bullshit that they are. But when you take things that much further, it's, I mean. Can you imagine how much influence someone like Gary Gensler has in the United States government, and how he could say to other government agencies, hey, like IRS, do you mind making sure that everything's good on this guy's taxes?
Oh, that's already being done. So I hope he's above board on all that. I know he's smart.
Yeah. Then the other thing is,
I know he's smart enough for that.
It's
no justice, no peace,
coming out
no
after the SEC when you did paid promotions
out of here.
And you seen what happened or what's happening to why am I drawing a blank on his name? Homie from Token Metrics.
Ian Bellini.
Yeah. So he got in trouble for promoting a project. When is that now? If that's happening to him, and I don't know what's occurred, like what the outcome is, do you not think the SEC is going to charge other content creators who have been doing that, especially ones that are calling out the SEC?
Of course.
And if other YouTubers are able to put together a little chain analysis video saying you did this happened, project dumped, people got fucked, how much more do you think that the SEC investigators are going to be able to come up with? So it's like you're making life hard for yourself unless you're clean as fuck. And I can't imagine somebody that police. Clean. All right, let's do this review.
Man, we already an hour in, bro.
We haven't even talked about.
Are you sure I mean, this. I know you gotta go at 6.
No, I mean, yeah, well, around 6ish. That's still 2 hours. I think that we can cover this shit. Let's start. Let's do it. Let's ask everybody. Are you ready for us to actually do the video of what we talked about?
Are you ready for us to rumble, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know.
Are you ready?
All right. So first things first, obey your thirst. So I just wanted to go back in time.
How far?
Just out of curiosity, I just went back to December 30th, 2021.
So a year and a day ago? Oh, no, you're talking. Yeah, a year and a day ago.
Year and a day ago. I went back. Okay. And I just want to play the now. Yeah, I'm just going to play this.
Might as well say $6 billion into this position. Now, they did only spend about 3.9, somewhere around there, billion worth.
Now, we're talking about micro strategies here, guys. We're talking about micro strategies here. All right. So just some context.
In its initial principle for these Bitcoins. So they're up almost 2 billion. The article talks about how they've made 2 billion, but no, there's a stark difference, a distinct difference between making 2 billion and your portfolio being up $2 billion without taking any profits. That's not P&Ls. That does not mean those realized gains. And that's very important for, people to understand that. I've personally said for a couple of years now that MicroStrategy, in my opinion, is making a mistake by going so heavily into Bitcoin. They should probably diversify, and I think they have diversified. They're not just in Bitcoin. I think they have some Ethereum as well. But, this is a publicly traded company. So what are they doing buying all this Bitcoin? People may not know Michael Saylor has really run a few companies.
So I just wanted to highlight that part, Rice. And the part is they were running around talking about we're up $2 billion on our investment. And I highlighted, no, you're not up $2 billion. Your running profit, unrealized profit is $2 billion, but you had not sold. So that's a lesson for all of you guys out there. You ain't in the money until you sell it, baby.
Right. Which,
because now they're down how much? Billions.
Yeah, but they did a very smart move, which I'm sure we'll talk about the very last bit of the story. But they sold Bitcoin this month. I think it was like the 22nd of December, because they're a publicly traded company. All this information has to be publicly available. And they did it as a tax harvest, and they bought right back in, and I think accumulated more. So I don't think he's going to be working at McDonald's. I think he's still playing a smart game.
Oh, he's already at McDonald's, my G.
Did you see him?
He is running MicroStrategy into the ground, bro. Well, he's not the CEO anymore, so.
Well, we'll see. I mean, because the company wasn't. I don't think it was doing like super successful before that he got involved in the Bitcoin route, and it was the Bitcoin stuff that I think that pulled the company out of the dirt.
No, they were. No,
they were doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ultimately,
I think we can agree that the price of Bitcoin is just in the long term still going to go up. So even if they just hold on to this for long term, even if you had to wait 5 years to 10x that money, is it still not worth it?
No, the time it's like trying to put a needle through an eye, or eye through a needle, whatever the Bible verse is. It's very hard because they have debt that is going to mature and roll over in 26, 25, 26, 27, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And the majority of that debt, the majority of the Bitcoin they own is through that debt. So it's like, are interest rates going to be lower in 25, 26, and 27? That's the question you have to ask yourself. You know what I mean? Okay, right. Is Bitcoin going to be?
Well, we don't know. We don't really know everything that they're doing. They could be stacking up on a bunch of short-term treasury bonds. We're seeing a lot of companies do that because now we're getting close to 5% returns on that. 6 months, 5% return. That's fucking crazy. Shout out to Mr. David Brumbello. Me and him hung out yesterday. He lives out here my way. So we
really?
We meet up. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Shout out to him. He said Michael has set them up for success. We'll see.
In my opinion. Long term, yeah.
Yeah.
May confirm Pulse Chain, Pulse X. I don't even know if Pulse Chain and Pulse X have even come out. I just still think that's a myth.
Again, more issues with there. I talked about that yesterday, Minho. For sure. Definitely talked about that. All right, man, bro. Let's get started. I can go on forever with you, man. This is crazy. So we're gonna basically, guys, we are going to use Decrypt, which I like Decrypt Media. You sent me this link earlier today, and I'm all with it. I love Decrypt Media. They're pretty good, unbiased for the most part, even though they are owned by who? They're owned by someone.
I don't think it's Digital Currency Group, so I'm not sure.
Some Ethereum.
Which
possibly.
Exchange was taking money from Sam Bankman, or which news outlet was taking money from Sam Bankman-Fried?
Block.
The Block?
The Block.
I think, okay.
The Block.
Yeah, Decrypt's a good one, and I read through this. It's really not, it doesn't seem as if there's like any sort of opinion like being pushed and interjected. It's just trying to lay out a timeline. I never see that with Decrypt, though. I never really see that with Decrypt. I guess it depends on who's writing it, but this one is really kind of middle line, just like this is what happened. It's two parts. There's the first part which covers January through June, and then the second part, because there's two different articles, does July through December. So, and again, I just think they did a really good job of laying out the timeline and just keeping it very during this time period. This is what happened, and just kind of rolls out in a timeline. And I figured it'd be a good way for us to kind of just highlight all the different things that have happened and then interject our thoughts as we're doing it.
Before we start, this is a good point, and this is a possibility. Crypto Savvy said MicroStrategy has to report, meaning publicly, because they are a publicly traded company. Mike doesn't have to report. He sold his after using MicroStrategy investors' money to pump. Possible. It's possible Michael Saylor has sold personally. We will never know, most likely. So that's a good point.
But I mean, now, like you said, you don't take profit until you don't have realized profit until you actually trade
or losses.
Right. So if you're now I would love to live in a world where Bitcoin goes to $1 million and I don't need to trade my Bitcoin for $1 million because I can just use my Bitcoin instead of the dollars. That would be the world that I would want to live in. But you got, in order to stack your sats and do better, you got to understand the game of buying and selling and doing it at the right times. And
when do you sell though? If you don't have an exit strategy, I'm talking to everybody out there. Like everyone says, stack your sats. Okay, stack them until when?
It depends on your strategies. And I have different strategies. Like I have some stuff that's long-term hold, and I have stuff that's more short-term. Mm-hmm. And then other strategies that I have is not necessarily selling my cryptocurrency for fiat money. I can take my cryptocurrency and buy silver and gold. And I'd rather do that and maintain my purchasing power with what I'm doing. So if I want to take $10,000 profit, I would take it in gold and or silver, as to not have the inflation that we're dealing with affect and make me lose purchasing power on what I'm trying to save. Because this whole system, our fiat debt-based system, is all based on like decentralizing savings.
Yes.
Because you get more purchasing power. Like let's say you had $10,000 you want to put in the bank for 10 years. You'd be able to buy more things before you deposited that money until you wait 10 years to take that money out and then use it. Even with the little bit of interest you might earn, you're going to lose that much.
I'm a contrarian. I don't think the dollar's ever going anywhere. Whether
it's not, but it's losing purchasing power. It's been losing purchasing power.
For sure. But at the same rate that it's been losing purchasing power, inflation, like we make more. So yes, it is.
So in 1920, you could buy a nice suit for $20. You could buy a nice suit for an ounce of gold. Today, you cannot buy a nice suit for $20, but you can still buy a nice suit with an ounce of gold.
True, but guess what? I didn't make 30 cents an hour. Then you get what I'm saying?
So I know what you're saying.
Wage inflation happened as well.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it, but you can see where that
too.
gold has maintained better than the dollar.
Yeah, but everything has maintained better. You get what I'm saying? That's
right.
why I'm saying
the dollar will always be here, but what it will be able to buy is two totally different things. Because what you could buy with a dollar in 1920 compared to now, you can't even buy anything for $1 anymore. There's not even dollar stores. My dollar store inflated. They're $1.25 now.
Now I do. Here's where I agree with you. I do agree. Wage inflation has not kept up with the devaluation of the dollar, but it's not like I hear a lot of people just straight up say the dollar has lost 99% of its value, and that's it. They leave it with no context, right?
Right, because you definitely have to look at the economic time period of what's going on during those time periods to really gauge in. But still, things like gold have maintained their purchasing power a lot better than $1 from 1920 to today.
Yes.
That much I know is true.
I agree.
But I do know that, people, $1 would go a long way. Like somebody might make $20 a month. But again, $20 a month back then was going to be able to go a long way. And if you look at, we've always had great conversations, and we still have not. We're literally 10 minutes shy of an hour, and I've not even started this 2022 review.
Yo, we just gonna let it flow,
just gonna stay throughout are we just gonna stay till next year?
Right.
Is everybody ready to party?
Right.
Grab your sake. Grab your sake.
Right. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Wu said, I get what CB is saying. The dollar is a branch in the game of life now. They'll always keep it to keep it alive and relevant no matter what shifts around it. Yeah, I think the dollar is not going anywhere, guys. Will it be the world reserve forever? No, nothing is anything forever. Who's next? Who knows? I don't know. No one knows. But I don't see
I think we all
Bitcoin.
know China's going to take over.
Bitcoin is not going to take over as world currency.
We're all about to be citizens of global China.
Yeah, that is the truth. Nah, I do think we're going in that direction. Anyhow, let's get it cracking, man. Rice, go ahead and kick us off for part 1 of the year-end review coming from Decrypt Media. NFTs, peak, Terra Luna, tumbles, Musk buys Twitter. Is that part 1? Okay.
Yeah, because the initial talk about Elon buying Twitter did start. He didn't purchase it until the end, towards the end of the year, but the conversation started fairly early. So yeah, it definitely was in that first 6 months of 2022.
I didn't realize that.
When he was throwing out I'll buy it, and then trying to back out of it, and then being kind of forced back into it.
Yeah. Bitcoin shows optimism, man. Go ahead and kick us off with that. What do you...
Okay, well, despite a rough start to the year that's coming out of 2021, we saw the price of Bitcoin fall over $46,000 to levels below $34,000 just some 3 weeks into January. The leading cryptocurrency rebounded strongly by the end of March, changing hands above $47,000 at the first quarter's close. After the November 2021 all-time high of above $69,000, many expected another good year for the sector. Those expectations weren't without reason, with the various infrastructure developments happening and venture firms continuing to pour money into the industry. Because, yeah, we did have a lot of VC money coming in. Because you got to think about, the rise of Solana, which I was always an anti-Solana individual from the get-go. But that's a really good example of that VC money.
What was not mentioned here, though, Rice, and it's interesting, no mention of monetary policy. Fiscal policy. No mention of fiscal policy here.
Yeah, well, we didn't really have a lot of rate hikes happening at the beginning of the year. They started happening more mid-year.
Right, that's monetary policy. I'm talking about fiscal. Did we have the stimulus checks go out in 2022, or was that 21?
That was 2020 and 2021.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there was any not in the United States, if I'm not mistaken.
So, but you still had money velocity, and it takes time for that money to matriculate. I like that. Matriculate through the economy. So, you still saw, in my opinion, the money that was printed and injected into the system in 21 we were still seeing the effects of that in 2022. And I think personally, we would have not ever seen a $69,000 Bitcoin if it weren't for all that money printing. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I mean, we had that double top situation because it was was it 4 to 6 months before the 69 that we had hit around 64.5, and that was a top at one point, and we kind of looked like we had a double top action. We didn't have the blow off like we normally see. We even still haven't really seen the real true minor capitulation that we would expect in a bear market. Which is, partially why, I think things that you've mentioned, and we still have some, more downside to go. Yeah.
Next one here, FTX hits $32 billion valuation. Wow. After a fresh after a $420 million extension to its Series B fundraise in October of 2021, crypto exchange FTX made a solid start to the year, raising another $400 million in a Series C round, which propelled the firm's valuation to a whopping $32 billion. SBF said then the Series C funds were expected to be used to fund mergers and acquisitions. Many of these acquisitions did indeed happen, but as we know now, the source of that funding wasn't from its Series C round. Other uses for the fresh cash included philanthropy, with FTX pledging up to $1 billion just a month later for "quote unquote" ambitious projects in order to improve humanity's long-term prospects. What a bunch of bull.
I mean, you got to think at this time period, there were a lot of people that were still snowballed into thinking that Sam Bankman-Fried was this savior of cryptocurrency. He's like schmoozing with the politicians, and he's going to be looking out for everybody, and he's just going to be here to save the day. He's going to be here to save the day. So it's really interesting starting off the year with a positive note on who this dude is. Those are psilocybin chocolates that he's going to be eating right now.
Nah, it's not. I hate this. I'm gonna have to get a new camera in 2023, bro. Because this thing does not focus at all. There we go. That's a little bit better.
Put it straight up to the camera.
No, it's too far. I got a DL what is it called, SLR or whatever. So
dark chocolate covered espresso beans, but I got some chocolate psilocybin on its way.
This is some real bougie stuff I got going on right here. Anyway, what were you saying, bro?
Well, it's just odd, I mean, this is before any of the fallout, any of the, when people weren't really expecting. People thought that everything was Gucci with FTX at the situation, at this period of time.
The crazy thing is, I didn't put two and two together until yesterday when I was reading an article and it said that SBF bought or took over Sushi Schwab.
Right. Was he the initial one, though? Because I think it was passed to somebody else, and that person ended up deciding not to continue with it, and then it got passed to SBF, I thought. But I could be wrong.
Shout out to John Hill, a.k.a. Default, in the building. He said this has been one of the worst years in crypto. And
aside from the Mt. Gox year, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, his comment has some weight, guys, because he's been in the game as long as I have. So he's been through all these.
And even Mt. Gox didn't have the effect that this has because crypto had more adoption. It was a lot smaller of a market, more contained.
And that's why I disagree with the people that say that Mt. Gox was worse. No. This is way worse.
There was less people, less exposure to the mainstream. It was more isolated, a lot more of an isolated event than what we've seen otherwise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Reverend said this is the worst year forever for everything market related. That's true.
We'll see. Because here's the thing. I think next year is going to be a little bit worse. Because we haven't like all the effects of everything that's going on with combinations of inflation, the rate hikes, all this stuff that's happening takes a little bit of time for us to see the effects of it. So we haven't even gotten into a recession type situation, and I feel like we're going beyond recession and we're going to be going into depression, and we haven't even felt that yet, and we haven't started feeling it. So the pain has not begun from all the shit that we've been witnessing, that the Federal Reserve has been trying to do to try to keep the dollar strengthened while at the same time not trying to screw every other fiat currency around the world at the same time. So it's just been interesting to watch, and it's all going to catch up. Like everything they've been doing, they're not going to be able to continue what they've been doing forever. They're going to have to reverse course, and that's why I think they're really pushing for the CBDCs faster, because it gives them more control over the inflation the way we appear to see it.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Sakila said exactly. That's why we haven't seen the bottom in Bitcoin. That's very true. That's why. But
at the same time, I will say, it's considering everything that Bitcoin has had going on this year, it's been pretty fucking resilient.
We say that, and I agree. But I think the reason why
I would have thought
because there's literally no one else to sell.
Yeah, maybe that could be the case. But I mean, if we see economic situations get worse,
or it's the opposite. There's no one to buy. Because if I said there was no one else to sell, that means the potential for the upside is there.
Well, I think people are ready to buy, but people are still anticipating it to go lower. I'm in that boat. Like, I'm ready to buy. I got cash that I'm ready to throw into the game, but I'm just not ready to throw it into the game yet because I feel like we're going to go lower. So I think more people are kind of thinking in terms, there's enough people saying the price is going to go down. Now, obviously, a lot of times when we see enough people saying that, usually we kind of see the opposite. You know, I think we're going to see a lot of upward and downward swings. And we're going to have sideways kind of action. We're going to hit a low and then we'll start coming back up. And I don't think the low will last really long. If we start to go, I don't think we'll be like sitting under $10,000 for any long period of time, in my opinion, because at that point, people will start buying up. Like, I'll go poor. I mean, I'll go live in a homeless shelter for the next year until the next bear market picks up and have a stack of my Bitcoin inside of my ledger and not pay no rent anywhere and just keep taking all that money and just keep stacking the sats. And then when that bull market hits, say goodbye to the shelter. Not that I would literally do that, but I mean, I'm just giving, some examples of, like, to give you another example, K-Dub from Crypto Zombie. That dude, like, back in like 2017, sold his car. I think he had some other things. He had gotten rid of everything. He started walking and riding bikes. He was doing everything he could to buy more Bitcoin. And then he saw the price increase when we experienced everything that we experienced in 2020 and took advantage of situations like a lot of other people. TJ Shad from Hit Network, he sold his house towards the end of 2019 and turned around with that and accumulated a bunch of crypto, then made the move to Georgia, partnered up with BitBoy, and they've got something awesome going on. So people have made some really good moves by strategizing.
Yeah, I don't think it's strategizing. I think it's just luck. It's timing. Literally. Bro,
yeah, but if you know, I don't think it's going to happen. Like,
I don't think
he was in real estate
again.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know why? Because they're starting to come in. The regulators are starting to come in. They're circling the block. They're circling the drain. Like, they're coming in. The sharks are. They smell or see the blood in the water.
The blood in the water.
I'm just saying. I've seen markets cycles before, and every time it doesn't amplify higher forever. At some point, the amplitude starts to go lower and lower as the more people enter the market, the better the price discovery becomes. Because the only reason you saw these like exponential, we made so much money being in crypto thus far, is because of market inefficiencies. Once more players get into the market, once regulation comes into play, those inefficiencies are canceled out.
But we'll still see those swings.
To make money.
I mean, you're still anticipating Bitcoin to hit $1 million at some point, right?
Not sure. 100,000? Yeah, I think 100,000. I think it'll hit 100,000 for sure.
I mean, I think it's kind
of $1 million.
Even in a couple of years, I think 100,000 is a pretty easy call. But
yeah,
couple years,
$1 million is a hard call for me.
It would. I mean, again, I think and I hope that people are going to start losing faith in their central banking institutions and their governments, and not want to use government or central bank issued money in any capacity. And if we could see people jumping ship away from those kind of mechanisms and going into cryptocurrency, yeah, we could have that. So as long as things keep going in a direction that they're going, especially here in the United States, I don't think very many people are like pro CBDC as a way for government to have more control, social credit scores, to be able to like shut down your account and freeze your account, limit what you can and can't buy, immediately take taxes away from you, any of those kind of situations. I don't think very many Americans are going to be really cool with that happening. So if we're being forced into that, we have people like ourselves to educate people about the importance of what these decentralized
at least half of America, at least 51% of America is dumb. You know why?
Well, go ahead, tell me as you
because
lose
they voted for Joe. They voted for Joe Biden.
If you believe,
you gotta be the stupidest ass. And Mom, I'm talking to you.
If you believe what that voting system has said, if you believe what the news tells you,
if you're watching, I'm talking to you.
If you believe the propaganda,
the stupidest. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
You believe the propaganda. That's all I'm saying. If you believe that propaganda, then yeah, you should be fooled.
Shout out to N4M33. He does make a good point. He says big fish will come in after regulation. That is what
institutional
I
money, yeah. Institutional money, retirement, shit like that. More things like I Trust Capital, where they're taking retirement funds and allow people to trade. Once it becomes regulated, you're going to have. Also, I think too, that also may be holding back that Dubai money. I mean, Dubai money is ready to come in, and we've seen some of the figures I've seen some of the figures that people are throwing out coming out of Dubai. And when Dubai like really, really hits into crypto, there's going to be a lot of massive growth with price action because of.
Andrew Tate said Dubai is the best country to live in the world, and I can see that.
I thought he liked Romania.
No,
he actually put out a video talking about why Romania is the best country to live in.
Yeah, but the thing is, this
shout out to Jerry's Pizza.
This statement came from a podcast from 5 days ago, so I don't know when he said that about Romania.
Since then he's had some problems with Romania, so I'm sure he's not exactly happy about his decisions with Romania. Yeah. I'm still not sure if he's actually arrested or not, unless he's got a McAfee situation. He's got his phone in jail, or he's got people having access to his account. I don't know, because they're saying he's detained.
He's been tweeting all day.
Yeah,
we'll look at it, but he's been tweeting all day. So let's take a look at Rice. Go ahead and go with the
next one.
Money flowing into crypto.
So the announcement that just came days after FTX US closed its own $400 million Series A round on January 6th, which valued the US arm at $8 billion. It also followed the launch of FTX Ventures, a $2 billion venture capital arm that sought to draw on FTX fast-growing global reach and resources, with the primary focus on Web3, gaming, as well as consumer and social Web3 applications. And it also adds on notable investments in Q1 of 2022, included infrastructure giant Fireblocks, raising $550 million. Interoperability.
We saw them in Austin.
Yeah. Interoperability and scaling framework, Polygon and Ethereum software company Consensus, both closing 450 million rounds. And now you got to consider that helped Polygon with being able to reach entities like Disney as well. NFT and metaverse backer Animoca Brands securing, I'm just going to go ahead and round it up to $360 million. And blockchain software company Alchemy and Ethereum NFT gaming startup Immutable, both raising $200 million. So we've seen the success of these kind of platforms, and we're seeing VC money invest. I mean, obviously, and we'll see a whole lot more of that happen when we see more regulation, as was mentioned. I mean, I think because it's a wild, wild west, a lot of people are kind of scared to get their feet wet in the situation because they don't want to get screwed over with what happened with FTX. And then we'll see the rise of exchanges that are being ran by I think we'll start seeing like Goldman Sachs and Fidelity crypto exchanges that will be operating for the mainstream and your institutional investors, so they feel more comfortable with being able to trade these criminal coins that we love to promote.
You know what's interesting?
What is that?
I noticed this yesterday or the day before yesterday. Whenever I put out a tweet saying, good to see Cobra Tate back on Twitter. If you search for Cobra Tate, his username doesn't come up in Twitter.
I searched it earlier.
It doesn't come up though. Like you can start typing it up and it won't come up as a username in the actual feed. I don't know if you ever noticed that. You gotta literally type it all the way in.
Hold on, pull up my screen.
Okay.
Because I have Cobra Tate pulled up in the search, and the first thing that comes up, if I can get it to,
I see it.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
So I typed in Cobra Tate and Andrew Tate.
Try it on desktop. Maybe you'll see and replicate what I'm talking about. But
yeah, well. Yeah, I mean, well, that would be shadow banning because, I mean, they brought him back to the platform, but I'm sure that this is one of the ones that our good friend, the freedom maximalist, free speech maximalist, wants to censor as well. So, shadow banning, that would be obviously what I would call shadow banning if you can't find somebody by looking up their name.
So we got he's been tweeting, guys, 6 hours ago. He tweeted 11 hours ago. So
And mine
guy's been
comes up.
tweeting.
Mine comes
Huh?
up. Mine comes up on desktop, and it's got Andrew Tate with a blue check mark as the first one. There's been
Gotcha.
4,821 tweets in the last hour with Cobra Tate in it. And then if I click on it, the last thing was 6 hours ago talking about God is on our side. So the Matrix will not win. Inshallah.
How do you feel about? Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you feel about him converting to Islam?
I don't have a problem. I mean, I appreciate everybody's freedom of choice. I don't, I'm personally not going to practice Islam, but I don't have a problem with other people that are going to practice Islam or any other religion as long as they're going to be fucking tolerant. That's the only problem I have with a lot of religions. I love a lot of Islamic people, but for the most part, Islamic people are really close-minded. It's Islam or die. There's not really.
That.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get that they're true to it, but I just don't personally subscribe to those morals and beliefs, and I wouldn't want to live under like.
I'm not
Sharia law.
Islam. I'm not Islamic, but I respect that hard line.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't like this usury debt-based system. They're the only nationality, religious group, or whatever you want to call it, that has balls enough to say "fuck you."
Exactly. That's what I love about it.
I get that, but I'm still not going to live under Sharia law just because I think they got balls to say "fuck you." I say "fuck you" to Sharia law. I'll go live in the woods. I'll be Tarzan mixed with Rambo.
Well, at some point we need to slide in here about Reggie, because of course Decrypt is not going to mention them. But we'll try to. I'll pin this and we'll try.
No, but down to him suing Coinbase made it in the crypto media. They couldn't really ignore that one.
Yeah, but it's not in the Decrypt wrap up though.
No. A lot of people won't ignore it. I had some friends at Cointelegraph that I was telling about this North American Bitcoin conference last year on January, and they were looking into it, but it was like Cointelegraph didn't want anybody covering it, so you could have wrote an article and everything and submitted it, and they're just like, okay, cool, we're not publishing it.
Well, moving on, OpenSea hits a record 5 billion in monthly trading volume. The wider NFT market boomed alongside OpenSea, the world's largest market cap for non-fungible tokens, and crypto collectibles smashed its previous record in January, posting more than 5 billion in trading volume between Ethereum and Polygon sales. January record still stands unbeaten by the end of 2022, and given the events that followed throughout the year, question of when, if ever, it will be cracked remains. So we talked about OpenSea on BitBoy this week.
Yeah, I would just tell people to refer to that because I hate talking about NFTs.
Me too.
Especially like in the form that they are in now. I was
going to bring it up during the stream. I was like, me and Rice are OG coiners. Like
that's why I was mentioning on that ATB. I was mentioning like real use cases for just real use cases for NFTs besides what we're seeing now, like deeds, registration, licensing, real estate, supply chain management, ticketing, events, and things like that. Replacing music, taking out. It's basically helping more ways of taking out that intermediary. Things. Yeah, and taking out that intermediary. But just like the whole profile picture thing is the PPs, as we called it, was PPs. really dumb, and I'm not going to spend $300,000 for a Nazi make. That's basically the K-Swiss of crypto.
AZ said it, man. NFTs were the top. That was. I felt that way in January.
That JPEG bubble was the top, yeah.
Yeah, I felt that way in January when we went down to Miami for Decentral, and was that January, February, something like that?
No, Decentral was the end of 21 because it was the last. It was like the last. It was the end of November, beginning of December because it's right.
Yeah, I felt like it was a top then. I was a year off. But
yeah, well, we were a few months after that was a few months after the 69K top too. So yeah, that's when we were most people were, I shouldn't say everybody, but me and a lot of other people were in denial of us being in a bear market. Yeah. Well, no, we still have more ways to go. We're still going to hit 100K. We're still going to hit it. Wait, no, we're not hitting 100K. What happened? What happened to 100K? Everybody kept saying
Yeah.
100K.
And also to that point, we talked about OpenSea's future business model because we now have platforms like Blurb, I think it's called. Right.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
circumvents the commission that
I just don't follow the marketplaces right now. I just don't have like
Yeah.
really much of a. It's just not my thing. So it's one of those things with
there
crypto. I'm not a big fan
are
of.
a number of crypto NFT marketplaces. I should say not crypto NFT marketplaces that allow you to circumvent the commission that is coded into each of these NFTs.
Now, I'm not going
Okay,
to say
so-
every NFT project is bad, but the way that
No,
NFTs have been presented, the way that like a lot of these celebrities, people like Logan Paul, and the way that they've been able to rug pull and kind of just basically scam people, I'm not a fan of. And if you're dealing with deeds and licensing and tickets and stuff like that, there might be an aftermarket for selling a ticket, like a NFT ticket stub or something like that. But it's that kind of stuff is going to change the game. It's not going to be $300,000 ticket stub, or anything like that.
Right.
So, and then, it's a lot. I just think it has a lot of potential for disrupting. But, just to give an example of a good NFT project is Danger Close Alpha. I like the utility of what they're doing.
Shout out to
Like, there's
Crypto
more
Keeper.
point to that. There's actually utility. So there are good NFT projects out there. I don't want people to think that I hate on all NFTs because I do cover it. It's just what most people think of NFTs, which is the PFP stuff, the PPs. I don't like. I'm just not down with the bullshit.
I ain't with it either, man. Take this moment, ladies and gentlemen, to hit that thumbs up. Year-end review of crypto. Yeah, a year you will never, ever forget. Episode 92. Smack that like booty. Definitely go follow my man Rice TVX. And we're going to keep this moving. Yeah, let's go on to the next one.
This is interesting. So this talks about the Department of Justice seizing 3.6 billion in Bitcoin. So I would actually like to wonder if America may actually possess more Bitcoin than anybody else with all that they've seized.
You didn't know that stat?
Even more than Satoshi, though. I'm curious, like how much the United States has in possession of Bitcoin. It'd be really interesting. So they got us the $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin linked to infamous hacking incident of the Bitfinex exchange, as well as the arrest of a New York couple on charges of conspiracy to launder the stolen funds, which, again, a chain analysis that people need to be aware of. So while the seizure of Bitcoin linked to the Bitfinex hack was undoubtedly massive news in and of itself, the story was also quick to capture mainstream attention given the culprits. You had Ilya Lichtenstein and his wife, Heather, rather opulent and eccentric lifestyle. As an American of Russian origin, he was given online advice about tech and finance. He also had a YouTube channel where he acted as an amateur magician and mentalist. I didn't know about this. Morgan, known as Razzle-Han to her followers, had a YouTube channel on her own and also worked as a contributor at Forbes. She wrote several articles, including Protect Your Business from Cyber Criminals, ironically. She was considered. They were considered flight risks, denied bail, and are currently in jail in Virginia, while Morgan has been released until her trial.
I didn't know she was released.
So that's his wife, right? Yeah. No, who is Morgan? Where am I getting Morgan in this? Morgan Lichtenstein.
Yeah, that's his wife.
Well, it said Heather.
He's out on bail.
Well, it says, up on top though, it says his wife
girlfriend.
Heather. His wife Heather.
Right here, it says Morgan, known as Razzle-Han. Maybe that's
I just thought, maybe it's just somebody separate. I don't know, or maybe that was the hacker.
She was the rapper.
Okay.
Heather Morgan. That's her name.
All right.
As you guys can see here. Heather Morgan.
Okay. Yeah, more human error, more greed.
Oh, my buddy. Look at that. President Biden, which 51% of you assholes voted for, signs crypto executive order.
Supposedly.
Allegedly. On March 9th, President Biden signed the executive order on ensuring responsible development of digital assets. Wow. The first, quote unquote, whole of government approach to regulating the cryptocurrency industry. The executive order aims to address multiple issues faced by the crypto space, including consumer protection, illicit finance, financial inclusion. Oh, the financial inclusion part. You got to love that one. And quote unquote responsible development. What does that mean? It also tasks federal agencies such as the Federal Trade Commission, the SEC, and the CFTC to coordinate their oversight efforts. Now, FTC, is that, who is that? Is that the one that's over like TV and, or is that the FTT?
I think that's the FTT.
That's
FTC.
FTT is the
Federal Trade Commission.
SBF coin.
Enforces federal consumer protection laws that prevent fraud, deception, and unfair business practices. And I believe that they're like subbed under the Homeland Security.
Well, Human Rights Foundation, CSO Alex Gladstein, on the other hand, pointed out that the order is quote unquote heavy on CBDCs and doesn't mention Bitcoin, suggesting it's not all bad. How do you feel about that? Just because they didn't mention Bitcoin, does that mean that this EO is not bad?
No, I mean, just because it doesn't mention Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies is not really an issue, but I do agree with the CBDC thing. And if people want to take time and check out some of the stuff that Jim Rickards has been doing over the past, since this executive order came out, he's been kind of trying to ring the alarm bell as to connections to where there could be verbiage about utilizing a CBDC in conjunction with something like a social credit score, UBI, and other mechanisms that ultimately give the government more and more control over everybody. So that's what's alarming about it. It basically was Biden saying to the United States is to all these different government agencies that would have any sort of like relevance or involvement in cryptocurrencies to basically do research and find all the pros and cons. Also seeing the what's happening around the world with central bank digital currencies, with China, even though they're having problems, still kind of being the leader in that, and the United States wanting to not fall behind. Plus, they also want to have control, so they're wanting to put the CBDC out faster. So this was the real initiative push from the Biden administration to get the ball rolling. And then since then, obviously, we've seen a rollout of the test pilot of the digital dollar with the New York Fed and like 14 different other financial institutions, including Visa and a variety of banks. So a lot has come out.
Round of applause for Voice Crypto. I must concur. Continue.
What was that? I didn't hear.
I said shout out to Voice Crypto.
Oh, word. No, I can't wait either. But what would
is
be
anything
the next?
Going to be any better?
Thing?
Yeah,
no, I don't think so.
I mean, I think it's
so.
going to
I
be
keep telling
better.
you, it's. And I know you look at it differently, but I just don't subscribe to the fucking party politics, and it's.
Oh, you're the
left wing, right wing,
one bird
same
of
bird.
the same. Or two. What do you call it? Two.
Left wing, right wing, same bird.
Same bird. That's
same
what
bird.
I love.
We're the ass end of the bird. We're like where the shit comes out is where we are. That's where the American people are.
Well, the next one here, Rice, go ahead and kick that one off. EU Parliament approves crypto legislation package.
All right. So in the same month, the European Parliament Committee on Economic and Monetary Affairs passed its market in cryptocurrency asset regulation, MiCA, legislative package, which, like Biden's bill, aims to coordinate the EU's regulatory approach to the cryptocurrency industry. One of the top priorities of the legislation is ensuring that the EU financial services regulatory framework is innovative, friendly, and does not pose obstacles to the applications of new technologies. The packages also take aims at creating legal certainty for the industry and ensuring financial stability, which is also tied to what has been a less than stable coin market. In a separate move, the EU Parliament has voted to impose new regulatory measures that would essentially prohibit anonymous cryptocurrency transactions. Which, I mean, I think me and you know that a lot of governments aren't going to look at Bitcoin as a threat. They're going to look at something like Monero as being more of a threat because you can obfuscate and hide what you're doing. Whereas with Bitcoin, there's enough chain analysis to attach you to your address.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, everybody's following suit. So the rest of the world is preparing to go into a digital element, is my opinion. And This is just more to show that. I haven't, since I'm not in the EU, I haven't done enough research specifically about MICA to know if it's more positive than negative. But from what I've gathered, it seems to be allowing for cryptocurrency innovation while not trying to throttle, but also trying to protect the nations as much as possible, which would give a reason why that they're wanting to prohibit anonymous cryptocurrency transactions, but it doesn't prohibit cryptocurrency transactions. So it's not saying no Bitcoin, it's basically saying no Monero, as an example.
How do you feel about what Juan says here? You do not vote, then you have no say.
Bullshit. I have freedom of speech and I can say what the fuck I want, whether I do or don't participate. I can add my opinion to anything that I so desire. Now, YouTube may not like what I have to say. And if I want to express that a little bit more freely, I might say it on something like Rumble or Odyssey, but I have the right to say whatever I want about whoever I want.
Let me
translate whatever I want.
I think I know what he's trying to say here.
I know what he's trying to say. It's like, you can't talk about something you don't participate in. You're not trying to make the situation better or worse. So why, where do you have a gripe in this fight?
Well, I guess even further, I think he's saying no vote, no change in the outcome.
Well, it doesn't matter what your vote is anyways, because the people don't vote for who the president is. I would be more apt to vote for like your senator and your congressman, which is where your vote actually directly affects it. But it's the electoral college that does the actual voting for the president. And they're supposed to vote based on what the people of their area are, they're representing. They're supposed to, but there's no law that prevents them from going the other way. So everybody in North Carolina can vote for Trump. And then if the electoral college woman decides that they want to put the vote in for Biden, they can do that. And that means that my vote didn't really matter. And ultimately, you're giving, I like South Park's analogy. You're giving a choice between a douche and a turd sandwich. And you're always giving a choice between a douche and a turd sandwich. And I don't want either douche or turd sandwich. You remember Ross Perot?
I love Ross Perot. I'm sorry.
We need another gentleman like that. That dude put Elon to shame with what he was doing with his money. I think Ross made a lot of impact with what he did running for president as a billionaire than what egotistical Mr. Elon has done. Just my opinion. My two Satoshis.
He's put. I don't know, man. I still have a lot of respect for Elon at this point. We'll see. How
well, here's your favorite man, Taekwondo.
Do Kwon, aka Quando Rondo, Terra Luna goes under. The dramatic meltdown of the Terra ecosystem was the major talking point during the second quarter of this year, as the implosion of the UST algorithmic stablecoin and its sister Terra Luna in May wiped out $40 billion worth of investors' money in less than a week's time, shrinking the combined market cap of all cryptocurrencies by almost $700 billion. Amid the crash, the price of Luna, once at the top 10 spot, fell 100% to a fraction of a cent, and USDT was designed to hold a 1-to-1 parity with the US dollar, bottom out at 13 cents. Despite facing numerous investigations into its collapse, as well as scores of lawsuits, Quando Rondo, the CEO, a Singapore-based company, Terraform Labs, has denied allegations, and I'm putting this in here myself, and is cashing out Bitcoin right now in Serbia.
Is he in Serbia?
Yeah, I just reported on that yesterday. 2 days ago. He's been cashing out $160,000. He got caught cashing out in Serbia.
I would like to find out before I even comment on anything, because I've been pretty harsh on Taekwondo. I'd like to really find out for sure what involvement potentially FTX might have had to do with the downfall. Now, that may not excuse some of the actions that Taekwondo had put himself under and doing. Like same situation with Celsius. Celsius may not have been fully responsible for what they were doing, what happened, but at the same time, they were also taking some risks that they shouldn't have been taking as well. So I'd like to find out a little bit more about whether or not FTX really kind of escalated this, and Taekwondo maybe is not as guilty as I assume that he might have been from the very beginning. So I'm trying to stay as open-minded as I can with this situation, but I'm not happy with anybody that's fucking people over and screwing people and harming others.
I'm actually on your side with this. As we get more information, there's evidence that is pointing to it actually wasn't Quando Rondo. It could have
been a combination. It could have been a combination.
SBF.
I don't know if it was 100% SBF. I don't know that Taekwondo is like completely innocent, but I don't know if he's as guilty as I made him out to be originally. Because now that there's more information coming to light, I might be wrong. That this might be 100% driven by FTX, and maybe Taekwondo is doing everything on the up and up, and he got rug pulled, and now he's just trying to save face. And if he stays on the run long enough, and enough information comes out, he may avoid getting arrested.
Exactly.
Especially if he cooperates. But being on the run doesn't help him either. You know, like if what we're saying has any validity, he should turn himself in and explain, like, hey, this wasn't my fault. Like, this motherfucker, Sam Bankman-Fried, it's his fault, and I got all this information, I got all this evidence to show this. That would be different. So him being on the run isn't necessarily a great sign. So, but again,
Taekwondo Rondo,
Taekwondo Rondo,
Do Kwon, throwing up the Crip signs, gang banging out there in Serbia.
Yeah, it goes hard in the paint down in Serbia, man.
It really does, though.
Well, between Serbia and Croatia, yeah, that's where Lieberland's at,
or not.
That's where it's trying to be.
Right.
This unclaimed territory that nobody can claim.
That's crazy. Shout out to AML Solutions. He said you guys are a pretty good team. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. There's nothing tied to my First Amendment right, but that compels me to vote. How do you feel about that statement?
Pull it back up. There's nothing tied to my First Amendment right that compels me to vote. That kind of backs up what I was saying, is I can talk about whatever I want to talk about, whether or not I vote or not. But I can't appreciate somebody else's opinion saying that I don't have a right to say anything because I don't vote. But I disagree. I can appreciate, but also disagree.
I get that argument too. Yeah.
And I think that more people need to be like that. I don't hate on that individual. I don't have any problem. There's no reason why we can't agree to disagree and just move beyond. Because it's not like me and you see everything eye to eye.
No, not at all.
Which is one of the reasons why I think we work well together.
Exactly.
Because it's not a circle jerk session.
Go ahead and knock out the next one here. And this is Crypto Contagion Creeps In. So go ahead and knock that one out.
Okay, so Terra's collapse was last year's largest domino that led to insolvency troubles at crypto lending platform Celsius and currency hedge fund Three Arrows Capital, known as 3AC. Citing extreme market conditions and the need to stabilize liquidity, Celsius announced that it was suspending all withdrawals on June 12th, with Three Arrows Capital receiving a liquidation offer from a court in the British Virgin Isles on June 29th. The Singapore-based hedge fund bore a loss of roughly $200 million following Terra's collapse. The crypto exchange BitMEX, FTX, and Deribit liquidating the hedge fund's positions after it failed to meet margin calls. It didn't end there, however, with broker Voyager Digital first revealing a $661 million in exposure to 3AC, and after the later failed to make even partial payments, issuing a notice of default. And another firm that moved to freeze users' withdrawals was crypto derivative exchange CoinFlex, which cited continued uncertainty involving a counterparty. I wonder who that counterparty was. CoinFlex CEO Mark Lamb claimed at the time that the person responsible for the platform's financial woes was none other than longtime Bitcoin evangelist turned Bitcoin Cash promoter Roger Ver. Did not know that. That's interesting. And Roger, I have a lot of respect for. Extreme market conditions also saw several high-profile crypto firms lay off their workforce. These included crypto exchanges Gemini, Crypto.com, and Coinbase, as well as several companies in Latin America. And I'll even expand that just as we've approached more towards the end of the year, we've seen those layoffs increase to a lot higher of a degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. It was like too much interbreeding. It's like it's a cesspool of centralized interbreeding that was going on here. It's like, what were they expecting? To put out? Did you guys discuss the fact that stablecoins infringe on Middleton's 566 patent, the Circle lawsuit filed Thursday, and the Coinbase patent suit allegedly nearly their entire business fringes? So is this Reggie Middleton for real? Speaking about himself in third person,
you know it.
and shout out to the Circle lawsuit. I love you, Reggie.
Oh man, Reggie. Honestly,
and Reggie was on my channel like a month, like I think it was this month, but it was within the past month, talking in depth about the Coinbase IP infringement case.
Well, Reggie, I did say at the beginning that we would have to interject you into this list. These two articles on Decrypt, because of course they are not going to put,
because we know they're not going to cover you, man.
They're not going to cover you.
They want to act like you don't exist.
Exactly.
Reggie Middleton's in the shadows. Where's Reggie? What's Reggie up to these days? Who knows?
No, we haven't mentioned that, but you have, so it's been mentioned. 566 patent. Oh, does that mean you have 566?
I don't know if that's the name. I don't know if that's the name of. If maybe that's the name of the patent.
Maybe.
I gotta look at the
Circle lawsuit filed
number.
Thursday, so this is recent news here. He's got to keep me abreast of things because I don't, it's not going to come up on Cointelegraph.
Now Reggie worked. He worked in Legacy. He worked in Legacy company. So was he a Bears and Stearns guy? Where did he work? Was he J.P. Morgan?
I don't think he's Bear.
Where did you work, Reggie? Because it's interesting because Circle, I mean, basically when I think of Circle, I know Circle is technically its own entity, but Circle is pretty much a subsidiary of Goldman Sachs from my understanding. And when Circle first started, I think in 2015, the two biggest investors, one was Goldman Sachs. So, and then you got to look at the connection with Goldman Sachs, Steve Mnuchin, and his One West Bank crew, who ultimately the two of the other guys, Brian, I'm going to forget these guys' names. He was the chief legal officer of Coinbase at one point in time, but he worked at One West Bank with Steve Mnuchin. So both these guys that worked with him, Joseph Otting and Brian Brooks, along with Steve Mnuchin, all worked at One West Bank. Otting became the comptroller of the United States Treasury first, while Brian Brooks was the legal officer over at Coinbase, helping with Circle, partnering up with Coinbase to really fully develop USDC. And then Brian Brooks ends up taking the position as comptroller after he did what he needed to do at Coinbase with Circle and USDC, and he became the comptroller. And then after Steve Mnuchin was stepping down because the next president coming in, those guys lost their positions. And I think Janet Yellen took Steve Mnuchin's position.
Reggie said they sued Circle through their foreign entities. I wonder why he went that direction instead of directly. Circle is funded by Goldman and BlackRock. Also, Voice Crypto said, breaking news, Volcker Investments calls out Grayscale and GBTC. Grayscale could go away in 2023, calling that one too. Well, I called that one as well.
You called that, and that would probably be that catalyst that'll bring us to that bottom that we keep saying isn't in yet.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is interesting, man. Make sure you guys take that moment to smack that like booty right now. We need your help. 45 people in the building. Episode 92 of Off the Chain year-end review. So make sure you help get as many eyeballs on this stream as possible. We greatly appreciate it. Go follow Rice on his channel. I have a link to his stuff in the description of this video.
Well, likewise, if you guys are watching this over on Rice TVX, make sure you guys are coming over to CBTV and subscribing, and links are in the video description. And there are also these two links for these articles are also linked down there too.
That's right. So we have Bitcoin taking nosedive kind of around or after this whole Terra Luna thing happens and the contagion starts to take place. Bitcoin was trading at 47,000 on April 1st. By the end of June, however, the leading cryptocurrency had moved more than half, or I should say, lost more than half, changing hands just above $20,000. According to the data from blockchain analytics Skew, this was the worst quarterly performance for Bitcoin since Q3 of 2011. That says a lot.
It does.
This echoes what John Hill said earlier, one of the worst bear markets he's ever seen. And I have to agree with him.
This is the first, and I would, so the reason for that, and I'm sure you'll agree, is because this is the first time that we see Bitcoin in a what would be considered a deflationary environment versus an inflationary environment, because we pretty much had quantitative easing infinity from the creation of Bitcoin to maybe somewhere beginning of this year, mid this year, and then we started really increasing these rate hikes.
Well, we tried QT once before in 2019. And remember the tantrum?
Right. And then we had QT
miraculously
basically in 2020, because we did have a recession in 2020, but we didn't feel it because of all the stimulus money that was coming out.
That's what I was going to say. Miraculously, we had out of nowhere this thing came around in the beginning of of 2020 that saved us all, because we were.
So we're not seeing Bitcoin perform the way that most people were expecting it to perform in the environment that it's in, which it hadn't experienced before, which is a deflationary environment. So, I mean, that's where we're seeing the mass adoption has not quite picked up, because if more people would have been on board, I don't think we would have seen this, in my opinion. But it makes sense that with reversing course with monetary policy and not injecting money into the system, that you're going to see all the commodities and stock markets start to fall back and start to go down, which is just inevitable.
Yeah. So we have before that on June 18th, Bitcoin briefly plummeted below 18,000 while Ethereum followed the trend to fall below 900. Over the same span, the combined market cap of all digital currencies fell from just below 2 trillion to just above 890 billion. Ouch.
Yeah.
That's when it started, man. And I was telling people,
You muted yourself.
take those damn laser eyes off and put the bifocals on, ladies and gentlemen.
I never did the laser eyes, man. Fuck those laser eyes.
Me either. Reggie is going in the chat room right now. He said, think about
Reggie is personally, I'm just going to let everybody know that Reggie has made a New Year's resolution to make sure that he is fully funding and supporting Rice TVX and CBTV. So thank you, Reggie. After you win all these lawsuits, we're going to have all kinds of nice equipment up in our studios.
Yes, sir.
Brought to you by Reggie Middleton.
Yeah, I don't know if we can be sponsored by Veritasium, but yeah, brought to you by Reggie Middleton. That's
brought to you by the 566 patent. We're gonna hold you to it, Reggie.
We're gonna hold you to it, brother. He said
it ain't gonna matter.
All crypto exchanges, products, and services, plus stable coins, NFTs, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Lightning Network, Solana, Binance Chain, and ODLs are all patented. Yet no real coverage in crypto media.
No, but there's plenty of I've seen plenty of coverage of people talking about Bank of America and all their patents and Visa and all their patents and things like that. And I think, you're not hearing it from the actual cryptocurrency space. Like that's why, I've had a really good interview with, and I know you did as well, but I had a really good one, in my opinion, in January, talking about the patent and really kind of getting a lot of different perspectives, because I really do try to come at things from a cypherpunk mentality. And I do like the idea of open source, but I do understand that you can have these ideologies of open source, and then someone like Goldman Sachs, Bank of America could go in and file these patents, the same patent that Reggie did. And actually, I think that they were trying to file those patents, but Reggie's ended up ultimately getting the approval, and those other patents fell by the wayside, and Reggie has control of the IP. So
see, here's the thing.
It's not one of those things you're going to be able to avoid. And if you have
Reggie's actions are very polarizing, even conflicting in my mind as well, because we are, crypto is supposed to be this open source,
But would you
environment,
rather
leverage.
Reggie have the patent, or would you rather Goldman Sachs or Bank of America? Because I guarantee you that someone like Reggie is going to work with people as long as he's being compensated for his IP, versus someone like Bank of America who could just flat out exclude.
Yeah,
You know, that's
we're
the other
saying
thing too.
Listen, no, hold on, Rice. We're saying that because we know Reggie. That's a bias.
Yeah, but
Yes, we feel that way.
Reggie could go to Coinbase right now and say, "I'm excluding you," and then kill
No,
Coinbase.
You're not hearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, we say, would you rather have Reggie or Goldman Sachs? That's because we know Reggie. If Reggie was a different person that we didn't know, how would you feel about it?
It would depend on that person's ideologies, honestly. But most people in the cryptocurrency space, I think, share our ideologies in the most part. I mean, there are the people that want to work with the legacy system, that want to have more dollars, but there are people who have ideals. Like Eric Voorhees is another good example. If Eric Voorhees had a patent on something, I'd be like, it depends on who's holding the power. Because and I'm saying this to you too, Reggie, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know, and unfortunately,
Right,
I mean, Reggie was in a situation where he got bent over
Reggie might
backwards
get
by
the
the
patent
SEC.
and just go straight Goku.
I mean, he in theory
level on
could.
us.
He in theory could, because he has options. He has the options are to license the patent or exclude use of the patent. And if he owns the patent and it's proven he owns a patent and he wants to exclude you, that means you cannot use any of that infringes upon his patent. And you can't, like, if you wanted to do that to Coinbase, there would be no Coinbase. Yeah, but in this sense, he doesn't want there to not be. He doesn't want to take away Coinbase, from what I can
think
tell.
this is where G, from a G perspective, has an issue with Reggie moves. He said you're looking more like a Trojan horse. I'd love for him to expound on that. I've heard him say that before, but definitely would love for him to
My first thoughts were the SEC realized they fucked up, and they were trying to make amends with him in some sense, so they were giving him something as like a peace offering. But then I started getting I started talking to Reggie and really getting
just
insight.
made a mistake and gave him the patent. Probably they don't.
There's so
many tentacles. They don't even communicate with each other.
Right. It's not
All
a
these
picking
damn
and choosing
agencies.
things.
There's so many damn agencies. They don't even communicate with one another. It's just retarded.
Yeah, because you would think the SEC would just contact the patent office and just be like, ignore this guy's patents.
David says, I would rather it be held by an individual than a large corporation.
Again, it depends on the individual. Would you like Sam Bankman-Fried to have that IP?
That's what I'm saying. So we
So
can't.
it
we're
depends-
being biased because we know Reggie.
But it helps to know the person. So so here's the thing. Like I said earlier, like with our community, us connecting up with all of our peers, the other content creators, we have a trusted network because we have that relation with Reggie. We can share that insight with people to give people more of our opinion on it. Again, this is obviously our opinion, but knowing Reggie, he's the type of guy, in my opinion, based off what I know, I would rather someone like Reggie have it than a corporation that would just exclude and ultimately throttle the industry.
Agree with you, but again, I'm just giving you.
It's the lesser of two evils when you look at it.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'd rather Reggie have it first because he's a brother for me. That's symbolic.
Well, and just
Secondly, he's an individual over a corporation.
Just what happened with the SEC, man. Just like how that whole thing happened. I mean, that was
Reggie's saying the SEC has no influence over the USPTO.
The Patent Trade Office, something. I think that's what it is.
Voice Crypto says, would Reggie stifle innovation? That's my beef with it.
Again, Reggie suing Coinbase had two choices: exclude or pay me for my license. All he's asking for is to be compensated on his IP. That's it. He's suing for monetary damages, if that's how you would put it. He wants to get paid.
Did you know that Reggie got a third one?
I know that he's been filing shit ton of patents since 2012, 2013.
13. Yeah,
Like
he
I don't
got
know the
another one, he
number.
said. I didn't even
I don't know
I
the
gotta
number. But I
get him on.
I think him and Craig Wright are having a competition for the most crypto patents.
Craig is crushing everybody by far. He's got hundreds of patents.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference in applying for a patent and putting in a patent and getting the patent approved. So I don't know how many of the patents that Craig Wright has put in has been approved. What Reggie's saying, the 3 of the patents that he's put in would be approved, but I didn't know that there was a third one. I'm assuming the first 2 were Japan and the United States, but that would technically be the same patent. So I don't know.
Reggie's a known public figure, been on TV since the 90s, not any smut on name and respect on Wall Street. Now, not some random guy we know and trust. Yeah.
I mean, he has been very public.
Yeah.
I mean, before crypto, he was the boom bust guy.
Absolutely. I used to watch.
He was like some sort of financial economic Nostradamus. Is like, actually, if you go to his channel,
he won 2 years in a row on CNBC.
Yeah, and then they
Best
stopped
Trader.
doing the competition.
And then they stopped doing the damn competition. You mothers.
So if I look up Reggie Middleton,
that's hilarious,
and get his YouTube channel.
Reggie says Craig has 53 patents.
Oh, now it's back to Boom Bust Blog. He changed it, but it was under some other name, like Financial Nostradamus or something. It was like his original channel name, but now he's got it back at Boom Bust Blog.
Yeah.
So we covered you, Reggie.
Yeah, you've been covered.
We got you, man, and we were talking about you way before, like Blood said. We definitely knew you weren't mentioned, and we had to make sure because I feel like it's one of the most relevant news pieces in crypto that's just being ignored.
Very much so.
And a lot of it has to do with people that control the crypto media. They just don't want it to come out because they're tied to a lot of the legacy systems and tied to a lot of companies.
It goes deeper than that. It's because he's black. I'm just gonna be honest.
It's not just that, but that's part of it. It's
a big part of it, man.
It's a big part of it.
It's a big part of it.
Shout out to Ian Molina and BitMEX. What's homie's name? Arthur Hayes.
Arthur Hayes?
No, all the black crypto people. You're next, dude.
No.
You're next.
You're next. No. Arthur Hayes deserved his.
You might want to go Michael Jackson, lighten that skin up.
Yeah, I might get me some of that. What's the baseball
I'm not black
player?
No more. I identify as a white man.
What's the baseball player that bleached his skin from the DR?
I don't know.
Sammy Sosa. I'm gonna go Sammy Sosa.
He bleached his skin.
You didn't know?
No, I'm not a baseball fan.
Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta do a Sammy
bleach.
We gotta do it. Oh my God!
If you did that, I'd blackface for an episode.
That would be great.
You can whiteface on blackface.
Look at this. Hold on, guys. I know you guys gotta know. I don't know anything about baseball, but I know this much. Ladies and gents. Let me pull this up for you. Please hit the thumbs up. This is the best crypto show in the game. So this is what Sammy Sosa looks like.
Oh yeah,
bro.
I can see the Michael Jackson effect. Yeah.
Come on, man.
You sure you don't have a disease?
No.
What do they call that? What is that stuff called?
Yeah, vertigo, whatever. Yeah,
Whiticus, Skinnicus. Yeah, no, it's pretty interesting.
Type 1 in the chat room if Crypto Blood should start wearing crypto bleach. Type 2 if you don't think I should.
You can lighten up in the summer and darken up in the winter.
The Jaruka Christ show, baby, on the way.
Holla.
On the way. Holla.
Where were we at?
Bro, we ain't gonna make it.
Let's just instead of reading the entirety of these things, let's just
talk about it.
Whip through a few. Like, what did we talk about last?
Yeah, so the next one here is regulatory headwinds.
So
we all know about that. And that this year was all about regulatory headlines.
It's also going to be a really interesting thing, like the CFTC versus the SEC. Like, who's going to get? Because obviously, I mean, you can't have all of crypto being under the CFTC, and you can't have all of crypto being under the SEC because there are some things in crypto that are defined as what we would think of as securities. Even as antiquated of the Howey test is, there still are some cryptocurrencies that are securities, and they would
I
fall
would
under the
rather
SEC.
see crypto be under the CFTC.
They seem to be a little bit more friendly, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And also, you always have different people coming in and heading the CFTC, because at one point in time, Gary Gensler was the head of the CFTC before he was a professor at MIT. So you never know who you're going to get. When we had the next presidential election, if Biden was to win, he doesn't have to keep him in. And if someone else wins, they don't have to keep them in. So it really, every 4 years, it could shift as to who is going to be in charge of the CFTC. And as soon as we get a Gary Gensler type guy, person, female, whatever the hell it is, into the CFTC, then you would be saying the same thing. I don't want crypto to be regulated by any of these crypto hating agencies.
Right.
So, I mean,
Twitter green lights Musk's $44 billion takeover. This is kind of crypto related, but this is monument. This may be the biggest.
So again,
move
April,
to me, Rice.
April 25th is when this shit started.
Mm-hmm.
And it took until like November, October before he actually purchased it. Was it October? Was it before the midterm elections?
After, you know that.
So it was November.
Before.
Okay, so he hasn't even had the thing for 2 months.
How do you feel about? I think that was like, this is going to go down in history this year, and Elon taking over Twitter and exposing these assholes.
You know what's sad about these Twitter files is that unless you're on Twitter, you don't know about this shit. Nobody has any clue that it's happening. So it's like, even though he bought Twitter and he's using Twitter to expose what Twitter did, it's still being kind of throttled from the media. Like, most people don't know about this. And the people that I've actually explained it to don't seem to care.
Don't believe you.
They don't seem to care.
Okay. They don't care.
They just don't care. And it's like, you don't care that it's, and I'll give an example. Somebody who just doesn't like Donald Trump, just doesn't want Donald Trump to be president. I'm like, you don't care that the media suppressed information about some things that may have made you decide that you didn't want Biden to be president either. Like, you don't think that you don't think that that we should have the right of having all transparent information so that we can actually make a real educated decision based off of facts versus based off of fucking propaganda that they want to put in front of our face and say, this is what's happening. That's not what's happening. And then you have no proper way of being able to judge whoever you don't want to vote for or whoever you want to vote for. And I think a lot of Americans, even anti-Trump, seeing the corruption that was involved with the Hunter Biden laptop stuff. You know, I got to be careful, but I could say that much. And, you know, it just shows that, like, I get what you were saying earlier about 51% of the people being stupid. I mean, we obviously have enough people that are following, but I wouldn't say 51%, but we definitely have a lot of stupid people out there. A lot of people who, but the unfortunate thing is they're not stupid because they're like they have mental problems and education problems. They're stupid because they're falling under these spells, this propaganda that's been put upon them from this conditioning since they were born, like going to public school, all the shit that people had to deal with, like the training, the Pledge of Allegiance, and all this stuff, you know, that we were being just assimilated into. And so a lot of people have just been put under this magic spell. And I want to have sympathy.
I literally feel like it's MK Ultra mind control operations at its finest. Like when the lockdown happened, I swear, bro, the brain.
When people are wearing a mask
programming
in their car by themselves or walking down the street outside with a mask on, I definitely have to question where those people's heads are at. But I try to have sympathy because I don't think a lot of them, it's not because they're just stupid. We're not quite idiocracy yet. We're on our way. We're on our way to idiocracy.
No, they're not stupid. I'm not calling them stupid as in stupid. Does it? I'm calling them just, you got it. I'm with you. I agree with you.
I try to have sympathy.
I just have to say this, man. An unchecked lie becomes the truth, ladies and gentlemen. An unchecked lie becomes the truth.
Well,
that is the truth.
a socially accepted version of the truth becomes a truth, and then you got to get into the psychology of stuff, because then it's your perception of reality is the truth, and it's everybody's perception can be different. So truth is different. But there's an absolute truth, and then there's your truth. So, like in a situation with me and you, we have something that we had a situation where we had a quarrel, and you're explaining it. You're going to give your truth. I'm explaining it. I'm going to give my truth. And then there's the truth.
Ask Rice if he believes in reparations for what's FBA?
I don't know.
That's
for
how
Black
you know.
Association?
I
think reparations. I think about black people, but
that's how you know they're really your white friend. What is FBA, Crocodile Dundee?
That's a cool name.
It really is hilarious. And I feel so bad when I say Cracker. I don't say his whole name. I'll be like, oh.
But Cracker, I am from Northern Virginia and grew up outside of D.C. I've spent a lot of time in many hoods. I've spent a lot of time in streets. I've been in prison. I'm very racist, but I'm not racist.
My guy will say, anybody see the Pope just died? Weird times.
It's an old Pope.
Fuck the Pope.
It's Pope Benedict, I think.
Sorry if I offended anybody out there. It's just for shock.
It's not Franny. Franny's still up there.
Okay, so foundational Black American. What the hell? What is that?
I mean,
I don't even know what that is.
I don't even understand. Like, I haven't done enough research to understand the reparation of what apparently the American government owes to African American families.
Tariq Nasheed created.
Who is Tariq Nasheed?
Don't worry about it, bro. You gotta be black. You gotta be black to know that one.
I thought I was in some kind of club or something. Who the hell is Tariq Nasheed?
Just go research him. He's
what is he like?
I don't know, man. He's weird. He's sometimes hitting
like a young Malcolm X or something.
But you know who Dr. Umar is? Dr. Umar Johnson?
I don't, but Tariq Nasheed came up as the first thing when I put Tariq in, so he's the most famous Tariq out there.
Yes.
K-Flex.
For sure.
K-Flex, King Flex, Tariq Elite. He's a film producer and internet personality. And he's best known for his Hidden Colors film series.
Yep.
Would someone like Hotep have a conversation with him?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's not like radical or anything to that effect.
He is radical. He is radical. He is very radical. To the point where that's where I like kind of. I'm not a radical black extreme. Like he's almost black extremist. Like white people are almost pretty much the devil, and kind of along those lines.
Now, see though, when it comes to that kind of topic, none of us that are alive were alive back then. So how can we hold anybody accountable for something that we weren't technically involved in any capacity? Like when somebody doesn't like.
Wait a minute. Stop the music.
What?
Tariq Nasheed has a white wife.
What's wrong with that?
No, he doesn't.
Is he like anti-white? Is he racist?
Yeah.
Now, see, I just can't tolerate racism. Not just for because again, so for people who don't want to like white people because of the things that white people might have done in the past have not any fucking thing to do with me. I had nothing to do with any of that shit. So it's like neither did you.
Those viewpoints are as extreme and as bad as the KKK.
Oh, I know. And there's dualities of everything. I mean, that's why kind of like what a difference would have been between like a Martin Luther King and a Malcolm X.
So Tariq's wife is biracial and his mother-in-law is white. Good God Almighty. Yeah, that's the way he talks, bro. If you hear his stuff, you'd be like, yeah, this dude is hypocritical. He couldn't even have a biracial wife. His wife got to be blacker than black. His wife needs to be purple. That's how much he talk about white people.
What's the guy, the Dave Chappelle character's name?
Oh, Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah.
Come on, Clayton Bigsby.
Remember how he divorced his wife because she married a black dude? That's keeping it real.
That's keeping it real, my friend. That is keeping it real. Yo, reparations. We got reparations during the pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? I saw all my people at the Louis and Gucci store.
I mean,
I'm
here's
just gonna be honest with you.
the
I
14th
saw it.
Amendment. The 14th Amendment made us all fucking slaves. So I'm just on the plantation with you too. My white ass is on the plantation just as like you.
Yeah,
So.
it's definitely on another level nowadays.
I mean, that's what the
It's not
14th
so
Amendment
much
did.
about white, black.
It definitely, the 14th Amendment didn't end slavery. It just expanded it.
Her name is Peanut. They were married in 2014. So this is not like somebody he married back in the day before he became extreme. He fairly recently married her. That's interesting, bro. That's crazy. I didn't know that. But
Most
whatever.
people are hypocrites, man. A lot of people are hypocrites. I mean, look at some of the things that
white people. Everyone should own one. That's
a good one.
That's funny.
That used to be a racist joke that I always say. I'm not racist. I believe everybody should own a black person.
Yeah.
It's just it's the same, but it sounds worse if I say it like that than if you say.
Of course, because
that's how everything gets
right?
thrown out of
you
context.
Didn't know that?
Man.
You didn't know we can call you hunkies and crackers, and we're not. We're not prejudiced.
It's totally all right. Yeah, and I can't.
Yeah, it's fine.
I can't even say that N-word.
I was about to say, on top of, we can call ourselves niggas, and it's just a whole bunch, man. It's a whole bunch, bro. That's why
It's stupid. It's stupid. We're all in the same boat. We're all on a plantation.
Yeah, we all are hypocrites in some manner, some form of fashion.
Shout out Bumblebee.
Yeah, shout out to David. So let's get to part 2, and we're just gonna try to get as much as we can done in this year-end review.
So we're in July through December on this second part. We have Ethereum completes the merge. That felt like forever ago. Again, time goes so fast that this feels like it was 2021.
Fed sanction, it did. Yeah, you're right. Fed sanctions, tornado catch. This is big. Okay, let me ask you from part 1.
Oh, is there one more for part 1?
No, there wasn't. But I'm asking, what out of that list of things and things that weren't on the list that we talked about, what was the most, pivotal, just most important thing that stuck out to you in the first half?
For me, it was the Biden bill for starting the bill for the responsibility of development of digital assets, because of what we're seeing with the CBDCs, with the tie to a potential social credit score system. I don't know if you've seen this. It's either Visa or MasterCard now has a credit card that you can sign up for voluntarily, and then once you've used your carbon footprint, it won't allow you to purchase anything more. That's kind of like a precursor to what we're going to have with these CBDCs. And people are voluntarily signing up for these credit cards that will shut off on them if they've used too much carbon footprint, based off of whatever information and data says how much you can and can't use on a daily basis or whatever, monthly basis. That's what alarms me the most, man. And I've talked about it. We're not going to avoid a CBDC coming. We can't avoid it. But what we can do is get involved with the political element and try to make sure that we're shaping better legislation. It's not like we can't have a CBDC that wouldn't be beneficial, but we need to have a CBDC that doesn't give the governments that control, where we lose complete privacy, where they can freeze funds without legislation, where they can control what you can and can't buy, where you have to be a good citizen and participate. Because the 14th Amendment made us all slaves. We got to be good little slaves, and the CBDC is going to keep us into being good slaves. So while we're semi-free, we need to make sure that we don't get that. And, that's one of the reasons why, too, that someone like, to bring up Ben Armstrong, like with what he's trying to do with the legislative end, trying to shape better legislation, we need more of that. We need people writing to politicians. We need people voting for politicians. I don't vote, but if you do, vote for fucking people that are pro crypto and get on that high horse and talk about it, because these people are supposed to be public servants representing your vote. And I just think the CBDC is the most alarming thing that we have coming at us right now. And with the combination of the things that I mentioned with the social credit score, UBI, and all these other things, that's very alarming. Even in not even talking about just everything that we're going to talk about, this executive order is the most worrisome for me.
Okay. I think for me, Rice, it would be the Twitter situation. I know he didn't buy it in that first half, but just the whole act of that being placed in motion for me was the top thing. And it wasn't really necessarily crypto related, though. in 2023, that may be a setup for massive crypto adoption. I'm hearing a lot of things about Twitter and them doing some payments and all this
with
other stuff. So
crypto and fiat. Yeah.
So I think the crypto Twitter, well, not crypto Twitter, but the Twitter situation was the biggest, most pivotal thing that happened in the first half of 2022 for me. I don't know where Reggie falls into this. Was he first half or second half? Not sure.
First half would be, well, technically, I think everything was awarded December. I think the U.S. patent was awarded December of 21. If I'm not like early December of 21. Right. So it really technically didn't. It would be more of the Coinbase suit that happened, I believe, in October or November. When it started.
Half that will, kind of.
But the information was getting. It was nobody was covering it, and sadly, Reggie had to write his own article with Zero Hedge as a contributor to be able to get this information out to people. I mean, I don't think I would have known about it had he not. Unless I would have looked at his, physically went onto his Twitter account and seen what he was saying.
Right.
Otherwise, people are ignoring it.
I got to get this one because he's a YouTube Premium member. Here's a catch. They're still arresting Nazi soldiers and paying small hats for the Holocaust, and that was almost 70 years ago. Would you have that same argument to the small hats? I'm not familiar with the small hats.
Yeah, but I mean, what is it? He just wants to get paid. Is that it? Is this just about getting paid?
I don't know, but I tell you this:
I don't want no fucking money from the government. I don't want
wisdom
shit.
Bars. What I'm saying, wisdom bars. We had our opportunity. We got basically us getting the money that I saw the hood get. We got a lot of money, whether it was fraudulent or legitimately. The hood got a lot of money in 2000.
Spinning rims on my toaster
in 21, and boy, we did not go start businesses. We did not go buy land. We did not go do any of these things.
We bought some Yeezys and
we bought some. No, we ain't buy Yeezys. We bought some Gucci, some Louis. We bought some Prada. We bought everything and just gave it right back to the white man. We literally just gave it right back to LVHM, Louis Vuitton, Hennessy, whatever M stands for. I don't know. LVH. We gave it right back to them. So, no, I don't think reparations is going to do anything for the majority of our black people. Yes, some will take advantage of it and do the right thing. Very small percentage. Most of us are consumers, and we're just going to give it right back to the white man. Goodbye.
But at the same time period,
we're in the stream right now. Happy New Year.
So a lot of my, when I did research on my family, I actually found out that a lot of my family back in early American history were indentured servants. A lot of people that didn't own land, that didn't have farms and stuff like that, were working for other individuals, and they would choose to do that. So there was involuntary and voluntary, or voluntary servitude. But so a slave would be involuntary, but there were white people who volunteered to be slaves too. So it's not like it's just a black-white thing. And when all this started, I mean, obviously we've seen a complete division in our country. When all this stuff happened. So it's not like you can blame the entire nation. And again, how do you hold people that aren't even alive responsible for something that you had nothing technically to do with? Just because your family might have dealt with something doesn't mean that you didn't deal with that shit.
I understand. No, I personally understand why black people think they need the reparations, because we never were paid. People are still getting paid and monetarily.
I mean, let's invent time traveling and then go back and make that shit right.
But the problem is and this is what he's saying. This is basically what I'm saying as well. What Umar says, I guess. I haven't watched him in a while, but Wisdom Bars is saying that Umar is saying that black people aren't ready for reparations, and that's what I say. They're not. We ain't ready.
I don't think most Americans aren't ready. Nobody's taught how to deal with finances and windfall, credit, any of that stuff.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
A lot of people are uneducated, so I would put most people in that category and not even break it down to a black-white.
That's very true. I never even thought about it like that.
Imagine a bunch of poor white trash getting reparation. What is that going to do?
What would that look like?
Same
what
thing.
What would y'all do? What would poor? Nah.
I mean,
y'all would go get I
don't know. I'm not a redneck, but I'm sure it would be redneck shit.
What is a redneck?
Trucks. What is a redneck?
No, I'm saying how are you not I don't understand. What does a redneck mean?
I'm definitely not a redneck. I don't know how I guess you'd have to be around somebody who's a redneck for me to say that's redneck. I can't
That's
just say like it's not so stereotypical. I mean, most of the time you see like some white dude wearing flannel, stuff like
Right.
that,
Right.
driving an old
Lifted trucks.
an old truck, things like that. A gun in the back of their truck or a car or something like that
Confederate
hanging
flag.
up. Yeah, those kind of things would indicate more of like redneck. And usually it's like a southern thing. People who are a lot of times into country music. Darius Rucker was into country music. I wouldn't call him a redneck. He was kind of bleached.
So what would a white person do with a reparation? Like a lower class or lower class white person do with reparations if they got some type of windfall from the government? What do you think they would do?
I don't know. I just imagine they would buy things like expensive items that they wanted that they don't have, like iPads, big screen TVs, most of the stuff that most everybody would buy. I just don't know that all white people would buy designer clothes.
No, they wouldn't. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like
an iPad,
they would go
a
buy
computer, a big 60-inch TV, something like that. You know, I mean, just things to make your life better, more comfortable, maybe a new living room suit. Maybe a little bit more responsible of choices in some manners, but it's still not, it's frivolous when it comes down to it. They're not, more than likely, you're not going to see a large
return on investment,
creating businesses and creating more income to come from the little bit of money that you receive. They just blow it. And it would happen on all ends.
Casino. White people go to the casino. Yeah, that's for sure. That's global.
Everybody goes to casinos.
Yeah, that's universal. All right, so part 2, year in crypto. Ethereum merges, Fed sanctions, tornado cash, FTX collapse. All right, so Ethereum completes the merger. Ethereum, the market's second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, successfully transitioned from being male to female. Proof of work to proof of stake.
That's a good way of putting it.
With the landmark update bringing major changes to the network, including a reported 99.95% reduction in energy consumption and a 90% cut in ETH issuance. The upgrade, also known as the merge, has been years in the making and suffered from several delays until the Ethereum Foundation committed to the 22 launch.
Now, one thing I'll say, I don't believe the reduction of energy consumption is even correct, because I looked at some charts recently and the I think it was big, like the way it was showing usage of energy, and this isn't the order of number 1, 2, and 3, but in a consecutive order, you saw Bitcoin, Netflix, and then Ethereum. So Ethereum is still using a lot of energy. It's just not as much energy as you're seeing Bitcoin use, but it's still using a lot of energy. And it's pretty comparable to the energy that all of Netflix uses. So I don't believe that, but the good thing I saw come out of this merge is we do see more of a deflationary event, because one of my problems with Ethereum from the very beginning,
above a GUI of 16, though. Remember that.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the numbers, I think we've seen more of a deflationary. I think it's becoming more deflationary than the way Bitcoin is producing coins in some fashions. Which is good, because there's no cap. I was going to say that was my biggest problem with Ethereum, is there's no market cap. There could be infinite amount of Ethereum. So where does the supply demand factor come in? There's always going to be supply. It's like it's an inflationary coin that has now added deflationary aspects to take away some of the inflationary aspects of the platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but I don't like it. I don't like the people in crypto succumbing to this fucking Bitcoin is using too much energy and we got to go to a staking option. I don't like that. I think proof of work has proven itself as being a good way of securing a network, and the energy consumption doesn't compare to what people talk about. That would just be the only thing I want to add.
Okay. Well, I think proof of work works for a cryptocurrency, but it does not work for a smart contract blockchain. It's just, it can't scale.
Well, looking at it, people have their Ethereum locked up and can't get them out. That's not good either. So that's another subject in and of itself. So yeah, then we had Then we had the official bankruptcies take place with Three Arrows Capital, Voyager, and Celsius that everybody is familiar with, and we've covered multiple times.
Ad nauseum.
This was kind of dumb.
How you like that $5 word? Ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum. The SEC claiming that Coinbase lists unregistered securities. That's really interesting. I found that to be kind of bullshit because the SEC didn't charge those projects as being unregistered securities that I know of.
Isn't that crazy?
So how can it go to Coinbase and say you've got unregistered securities, but yet we're not going to in place any sort of criminal charges saying that you're a security? Because I don't believe any of these tokens, and I could be wrong. And if somebody has information to correct me, please let me know. But of the 9 assets, AMP, Rally, Derival Dex, XYO, Rary Governance Token, the LCX, Power Ledger, DFX Finance, and Chromatica. I'm really only familiar with AMP and XYO, but I don't think any of these projects have been hit with any security violations. And I believe that Genesis or Gemini Exchange, as far as holding assets, I think AMP is their number 2 most held asset. So it's really interesting that the Winklevoss brothers, because I've actually met the founder from AMP, from Flexa, and he actually looks like he could be a relative, like a nephew or something like that of the twins, the Winklevoss.
I call them the Dingleberry twins.
But I mean, but those dudes seem to be smart. They're not listing shit on their exchange that would cause them problems. So I would use Gemini as a reference of saying, well, if they're going to list the coin on their exchange, then these coins should be proven as they're not securities or any sort of shit that's going to come back and bite them in the ass, especially being in New York, having a New York BIT license.
Well, as you stated, none of these have been issued violations by the SEC, though they claim that Coinbase holds them as securities, which is weird. But I think all of them will eventually become violated.
And it may they may be trying to set more precedents. I mean, they got precedents now with the library case that was settled after that. And then now we have the XRP case. So when you have the settlement or whatever happens with the XRP case, depending on how that goes, they can use the combination of library and XRP as examples for coming out.
I'm surprised that you feel
to make it more open and
XRP.
Go ahead.
I'm surprised you feel XRP is going to come out unscathed when seeing how library ended up.
Library is taking on big tech. And the government supports big tech. The government supports Google because Google is giving them information.
Yeah.
So they don't want to have those competitors, and they would rather they don't want there to be video platforms that are having what's going on with Twitter right now happen. Imagine if Rumble started to have the attention that YouTube gets and allows for free speech. How much of an uproar is that going to cause to the government?
Not much.
You don't think they're going to have a problem with it? Like they
are
with, like
they're
they
publicly
are with
traded, and they've basically.
Well, look what's happening with Twitter.
They've given the No, Twitter's not public anymore. It's private. See?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So Rumble, if they get to that point, they'll just be pressured to censor, like Facebook did, like Google did,
and they'll take you off those stores. Unless you're someone like Elon Musk, who then can create your own phone and app store and all that. And then you're giving one guy too much fucking power.
Right.
So it's like, I don't want there to be I don't want Elon to build the X app that's a be all end all for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, replace all those and then have control of it all.
Red River said, I'm going to ask Chat GPT to write a rap called Ad Nauseum. That's a good one.
If it's good, send us and maybe me and Blood will perform it.
Yeah, live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. I refuse to lock up my ETH up. Seemed a bad idea to me. Glad I didn't too. I sold 100% of my ETH that I bought sub. No, that's great. That's good, man.
Smart man. I definitely would like to see us go sub 1K on Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have taken advantage when we hit where we hit, but
we're going back. Don't worry. Fed sanctioned Ethereum mixer Tornado Cash. Oh man,
this is the big one. This is one.
This is the big one.
We've talked about this a lot, but we need to bring more attention to this because the one thing that you have pointed out that I started to question is there are lots of different mixer services out there. Some that right now Alameda is using.
Yeah,
I mean, you've seen that they are sending Ethereum funds, mixing it up, and getting Bitcoin sent back to addresses. So if you're seeing a service that offers a shuffling or mixer, which basically mixes up your coins with other people's coins so that you have a different coin than you started out with, if you see these entities still operating, you might want to question why they still operate. Because if Tornado Cash
was play 4D chess, ladies and gents.
If Tornado Cash was taken down and this dude's in jail for writing code, and then you still have CoinJoin going on, you have what are some of the other ones? Because I know they have some that are through Tor that utilize that Samurai Wallet has built in. There's a lot of different mixer services. So if they're still up and active and operating, you may want to question how much they are actually shuffling or changing up your shit versus making sure that the original information is still remaining so that there's a chain analysis to go on. Because if you're using something like CoinJoin, it's probably going to be collecting information on the back end that's going to let somehow identify IPs, addresses that originally sent to. And because when you go into a mixer, you're going in sort of identified and you're coming out unidentified. But I think that the mixer services and shuffler services that are out that are operating, you're coming out identified. Even though your coins might be mixed up a little bit.
So here's what I think it is. I think the ones they haven't sanctioned yet, mix it to the public. But on the back end, there are audit trails.
Right, which shows your exit point. So when you go in, you go in, they know your public address that you sent from. But then when it comes out of the mixer, you're supposed to be anonymous. Mm-hmm. And your coin might have gotten mixed and shuffled, but I think that there's information on the back end that's collected up. So it shows the address that brought it in and shows the address that took it out. Yeah. So that even though there was a mix in between, it still identifies that coin. So you can still keep a trail going.
Happy New Year's Eve to everyone. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, smack that like booty, subscribe to Rice TV X. The link is in the description. And if you're watching on Rice TV X, subscribe to Crypto Blood. All that information is in the description of this video. We are doing the year-end review of cryptos for 2022, a year to never ever forget. This is episode 92.
Here's a travesty. Here is a travesty. They bring up Ian Bellina in this, but they didn't put Reggie Middleton. So the SEC claims all Ethereum transactions fall under U.S. jurisdictions. That on September 9th, the SEC filed charges against crypto influencer Ian Bellina, who is also the founder of Token Metrics, alleging the Uganda-born entrepreneur failed to file a registration statement for his offering.
Why do they have to mention Uganda-born?
Because they want to say he's black. Because how many fucking people? How many white people do you know that are? I mean, I'm sure there's white Ugandans because there's white South Africans. Ugandan has no relevancy to this conversation, except for to let you know, because Ian Bellina does not sound fucking very black.
No, he ain't black. I'll let you know right now. He ain't a brother. He ain't African American.
His skin is dark.
His skin is brown. Is darker than mine.
Ian Bellina does not sound like a black person's name.
Not at all. Or
it sounds like some dorky white dude. It sounds like some dude that would wear a bow tie.
Yeah, same place Obama is from.
And it's crazy, man. So Bellina has also allegedly failed to disclose the compensation he received while promoting the Sparkster initial token offering, the ICO, on social media. And however, the devil is in the details, in a bold move buried in the lawsuit's 69th paragraph. The SEC also claimed it had the right to sue Bellina, not only because his case concerns transactions made in the United States, but also because, according to the commission, the entire Ethereum network falls under the U.S. government's purview. According to the SEC, the Ethereum sent to Bellina was validated by a network of nodes on the Ethereum blockchain, which are clustered more densely in the United States than any other country. which in the SEC's logic means that as a result, those transactions took place in the United States, which is going to be interesting because I think we're going to see a big argument as to whether when Ethereum changed over to proof of stake, if they changed their terms in a way that is going to make it fall as what the SEC wants to identify as a security.
Well, I was on,
especially with the lockup of the tokens, you not being able to get your tokens out. I think that's going to cause a big uproar because also people are expecting a return on that investment off the stake.
So, right. So this point was brought up on Around the Blockchain. I don't know if you were on with me. It may have been the week before, but I don't know if you knew this, but 60% of all blacklisted 60% of nodes on the Ethereum network block addresses that have been associated with Tornado Cash and other sanctioned.
That's why I've said to people that Ethereum is centralized. It's not decentralized. It has a decentralized network, but when it comes in, it's programmable. Okay. It's programmable, and that's why
Ethereum is censorship. Ethereum is a censorship.
Censorable.
Thank you.
Not censorship resistant.
Yeah, Ethereum is a censorable blockchain.
But I think that you can blacklist addresses on Bitcoin too. I think any node can choose to blacklist an address. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Sure, but there are so many different nodes and so many different areas with not the same agenda.
Well, dude, look at
it wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen.
When Vitalik was first involved in the scene, when Ethereum was first started, he was like very, very much in a lot of our mindsets. He was very much a be your own bank kind of situation. And since then, as Ethereum has grown and we had the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance and all these different banks and all these institutions investing, now he's come out and made statements like that banks aren't bad inherently. There's bad people that work at banks. And there's good people that work at banks. So it's not banks that are bad. It's just certain people. Whereas in the beginning, it was like banks are bad. So even he has shifted his model because you mentioned it. I knew this, but all stablecoins that are not decentralized, and there's not very many, like DAI is probably one of the only few. But even knowing that Ethereum can blacklist addresses, that means they can blacklist a DAI address. So any sort of stablecoin you need to look at as a programmable CBDC. They can be frozen, and you just need to know that. So if you're holding,
can't be. So the people that control DAI's main smart contract will be the only people that could modify the smart contract and make it where you can blacklist through their tokens through that smart contract.
Yeah, but the Ethereum blockchain can block those nodes can block the addresses without. So I can have DAI in an address and they can block that address, and DAI doesn't have to have anything to do with that block.
Okay, so yes, you can have a bunch of nodes get together and collude to block all DAI. However,
this is where fungibility is fucking important.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rice, even in the scenario where 60% of the nodes are blocking all those blacklisted addresses, as long as 1% of the nodes out there, as long as 1 or 2 of the nodes out there accept it, it will get through. It would just take a damn long time. It would take days for your transaction to get through, but you'll be able to get it through no matter what. That's the thing.
Right. I know what you're saying. I mean, yeah, if you know how to operate like logically on how these blockchains work, you can obfuscate your way, but it goes into like that security versus convenience aspect, because you're going to have to go through a lot of different measures to be able to obfuscate, to be able to hide what you're doing and have more privacy with your transactions. So you're going to have to jump through a lot more hoops, but it just depends on if that's worth it to you. Yeah, that's part of being responsible for your own money and being your own bank.
Yeah, no doubt. So we got here going forward, Tesla dumped 75% of its Bitcoin holdings. A lot of people forget about this one. I covered this on my 2 Satoshis. I don't know if you did on your end, Rice. I know you knew about it, but how do you feel about that? They dumped 75% of their Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, this is what also started leading into the, like, when Elon started talking about buying Twitter, obviously it was pissing a lot of people off. And I think one of the things that they were doing to try to attack Elon is trying to attack him with his wallet and affect the bottom line of the Tesla stock. Ultimately, is my opinion. You know, he's bucking the system, and the system is going to do what they can to try to cause problems for him doing that.
Does that seem like a mid to long term top in Bitcoin to see Tesla sell it?
I don't know, because again, I don't know if there was a rebuy back in. It could have been a similar situation as MicroStrategy this month, where
They would have had to report it. They never reported buying back in.
they were publicly traded then, is what you're saying? Because now Tesla is still publicly traded.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe, again, it was just because here's the thing. When I was going to school back in like 2016, 2017 for business administration, I didn't understand why people were investing in Tesla, because Tesla for the longest time never profited. So it's only actually been profitable for a few years. So, I mean, I can understand trying to make sure you're doing whatever you need to do to keep your company afloat. Sometimes you bite off more than you can chew. I don't know. I mean, it isn't. I saw somebody comment on in your live stream yesterday about Chico Crypto talking about Elon being Satoshi, and I think I sent you the links, and he does make some really good arguments about both Elon and Sergey Nazarov from Chainlink. And if let's say Elon was in theory Satoshi, dumping that Bitcoin was not shit compared to the Bitcoin he still technically holds.
Mm-hmm.
So we just don't know behind the scenes what's going on. But I don't care about institutions dumping, because if they dump it properly, that's allowing for more people like me and you to be able to purchase it. And crypto and Bitcoin is supposed to be for the people, not for the corporations, not for the institutions. So I would love to see more institutions getting rid of their crypto and more people adopting crypto and more people buying that crypto and it being in the hands of the people.
A lot of people don't want to admit this, right? Bitcoin is highly concentrated. Not a lot of people have Bitcoin. It's highly concentrated amongst a number, very few wallet addresses.
It's because people don't understand that you can have a slice of the pie. They think you got to have the whole pie, and they're looking at the price, and they're like, "I'd rather buy something that's really low and think that it's going to go up."
I'm saying though, what I'm saying though is that the number of Bitcoin that are out there, as far as number of Bitcoins, not necessarily whole amounts. I'm just saying the number of Bitcoins that are out there. It's highly concentrated amongst a very small few wallets.
And it's also controlled by a very small group of people. So, I mean, that's a totally another conversation. I mean, we agree with that. I mean, it's ideology is what I believe in Bitcoin. It's not actually Bitcoin itself, because Bitcoin itself is not what Bitcoin was created to be. Not now. That doesn't mean it can't be. But it's been kept limited and throttled on purpose so that entities can profit off of creating solutions that aren't on chain. And like, for example, Blockstream and Lightning Network, so that they can profit off of those instead of improving Bitcoin itself. That's why we had the hash wars. That's why we seen a fork take place in 2017. That's why we saw the creation of Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, like I see, these people here, anything for clicks, and David are getting it. It's highly centralized in the sense of number of holders. I think the architecture of Bitcoin is decentralized enough to be
the nodes, the network to distribute the distribution of the network.
But the concentration of the coins is highly centralized, and i.e. won't allow for, and this is where I disagree with from a G perspective. I don't think Bitcoin will allow for this great transfer of wealth to the masses, because it would have happened from the bottom up. It can't happen from the top down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And
you get what I'm saying?
I mean, that's why some people would call something like Bitcoin a pyramid scheme. Because
it's not a pyramid scheme.
I get the comparison.
Oh, yeah, pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme. Yeah, it's not a Ponzi scheme.
Because top down.
Yeah, it is a pyramid scheme. It is a
Yeah,
pyramid
the
scheme.
earlier you got in, the sooner you get into more, you're benefiting from all those things. So it definitely,
Right.
but it's not like a straight MLM scam. But it definitely has that top down aspect where it should, like you say, have that bottom up.
That's the only way it would from an econ. You guys know I'm a econ like dude. That's what I do. I don't watch anything but econ videos while in my spare time and read econ books and stuff like that. So you can't have a distribution of wealth where the bottom people win if they're getting in last. If the concentration of the wealth is with a small portion of people, the bottom won't ever have that. Oh yeah,
But we can still create it today. That's the good thing about today is like we can take and take a code fork of anything and create our own coin. And as long as we assign value to it, then everybody's on board. I mean, there was a time period in history where people gave value to these little puka shells, and these puka shells were a way to barter. So if the people decide that they don't want to use something, we could create a cryptocurrency, have it bottom up, and create it now. And the people now that Bitcoin is taken on to the masses, now everybody has an opportunity to participate. And we agree that this is going to be what we use, and now it has value. So we could essentially, but you have to have everybody on board.
Yeah, the problem is the secret sauce that Bitcoin still possesses is the fact we don't know who the founder is. There is no figurehead. It was a first. So that's kind of like we can never recreate that.
I disagree. Komodo came out. Nobody knows who the fuck created Komodo. You can still create something anonymously today. There can still be another Satoshi Nakamoto today. And I think that Satoshi would benefit from all the adoption and education has taken place since the creation of Bitcoin, because that's the only thing that Bitcoin fucked up with, is being the first one through the door. It took the hits, and now it's like it's kind of out of the grasp of the everyday person.
Wait a minute, we're going on 3 hours?
Yeah, so Kraken Jesse Powell steps down.
What the hell?
Not really much to talk about there. He's a good dude. He still is very involved in a cryptocurrency space, and I like Jesse Powell, and I think he represents us very well.
Yeah, I do too. Coin keeps going lower. Coinbase. Yeah, this is I don't have much faith in Coinbase's future, Rice, because it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah, well, it also seems like if people want to, they could almost do a hostile takeover of Coinbase if somebody had enough money, buy enough shares of the stock, and end up having majority control. So, I mean, it could be in a situation where Coinbase in a year from now is not even owned and operated by the people that run it right now. It could be a completely different entity. Goldman Sachs might obtain it. Who the fuck knows? Going public was not a very smart move for Coinbase.
It looked like it, though, because the trend and trajectory for crypto was to the moon.
Had they done it a little bit earlier, maybe, or waited to do it? One of the two. And the next is your favorite. The great grayscale Bitcoin discount. This is the next downfall for crypto. It's going to bring us, in my opinion, going to bring us lower. And I think that you're on the same boat with this.
Yep. Definitely.
Can you quickly explain how you think that this would effectively be a downfall, and why you're doing that? I want to use the restroom.
Yeah, all right, cool. So my thing, guys, with this grayscale situation, I feel like we have essentially, if they do go bankrupt, you're going to see a forced liquidation of those coins that they own. I don't know if you guys know this, they own 3% of the total supply of, and we just literally talked about the concentration of wealth in Bitcoin. This is a prime example of it. Grayscale owns 3% of all floating or available Bitcoin. Okay, so my opinion is that if they go bankrupt and they have to do a liquidation of assets to pay back its debtors or creditors, that would be a pretty substantial move down, or a lot of Bitcoin to hit the markets and take us down even further, on top of just people panicking from them going bankrupt. So you'll have like a double whammy there with that. So yeah, that's why I think that's a big issue. That is a big issue with Grayscale. that we're going to see probably in 2023. That's going to be a major move, a catalyst for a move down in 2023. After that happens, I would feel even better about buying Bitcoin. You know, so hey, it is. New York passes moratorium on Bitcoin mining. This is crazy. Yet again, another attack at Bitcoin's infrastructure. But again, as we stated earlier, guys, Bitcoin, the structure or the actual technical structure of it is still very decentralized, the most decentralized. Nothing is 100% decentralized, but I think it's the most decentralized, effective.
You know, one thing I will highlight about this, because I mean, for a while I was like, what is New York's problem with crypto? And then I just got to realize that, you know, New York is basically Wall Street. And Wall Street doesn't really, I mean, they really don't want to see cryptocurrency succeed, because then we'll see like some of the ideas that Reggie was talking about years ago, like peer-to-peer capital markets, where we take out that middleman, those brokers, and just do all these kind of things directly by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So
what is ETC? I keep seeing people say ETC. Do they mean ETH?
ETC is Ethereum Classic.
That's classic. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it being said in reference to?
Mm-hmm.
Grayscale does hold ETC. I mean, I think there's a couple other projects that I got. There's that blockchain LLC that was building a smart city outside of Reno, Nevada. That's big on ETC, and I think they're using Ethereum Classic as what they're building on.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ethereum, here's what I suggested with Ethereum Classic, is that Ethereum Classic should have upgraded to the point of Ethereum before they did the EIP 1.5. I forget all the numbers, but the deflationary aspect before they did the hard fork. Before they went proof of stake, I think that Ethereum Classic should have kind of kept up with where Ethereum's at before that merge took place.
Yeah,
I think that would be interesting, because that would give a lot more to be built. Because I mean, there was a fork created with the proof of work Ethereum, and it is actually in existence. And there's no reason for a proof of work Ethereum when you have Ethereum Classic.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
Tether eliminates commercial paper from reserves. This is again, you know, people hate Tether, but
smart move though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a smart move, because I want to say this, because they're replacing it with treasury bills. And if you look at what's going on with the interest rates right now, like people are getting close to 5%. And basically, I think after the next rate hike, we'll be getting around 5% on a return on a 6-month investment. So all of these financial institutions that have been buying up real estate in this year over 21 and 22 are going to be selling that real estate, because that it's not going to be performing as well as having 6-month treasuries. So we're going to start seeing a crash in the housing market, because there's going to be a huge supply of houses being put out on the market, in addition to what we're dealing with economically. So this 5% yield on treasury bonds is a pretty big deal, especially for 6 months. I mean, it's ridiculous, because I mean, the way a treasury bond should function is the longer that you have a treasury bond, the more yield you get. But we've had inversions in our yield curve, which means that you're earning higher interest on a shorter term treasury bill, which is ridiculous. But it's a smart way of backing up your assets, because it's like backing it with dollars, but dollars that are giving you extra dollars, where your dollars ain't giving you extra dollars.
That's one thing about 23 and beyond. DeFi is dead until yields in DeFi are higher than treasury yields.
Yeah.
It should not be that way. It should not be that DeFi has, on average, lower yields than the treasury. So but
some of the yields that they were offering were obviously unsustainable.
I know, but it's still, at some point, the risk-free, like that rate needs to be above treasury yields. It has to be, or it doesn't make sense.
Sometime in the next 5 to 7 minutes, I got to run outside and run back in, just to give you a heads up.
No doubt. That's not a problem.
Got that delivery coming, but we could still go for a minute.
UK includes crypto in new reform package. I'm not too familiar.
I think that this is just like expanding upon the MICA stuff and more talk about CBDCs. It also talks about extensions of tax breaks for investment managers to cover crypto assets. So it's making it a little bit more friendlier for the financial institutions to profit off of it as well. And as far as I can see, and then it also talks about covering areas such as disclosure for financial products and including easing capital rules for smaller banks, which helps smaller banks to operate in a more functional way that they don't have the ability to versus larger banks that have more to play with. But as you can see in the last paragraph, the UK government is planning to bring forward a consultation on a case for a CBDC, with the Bank of England releasing a paper that will set out technology considerations informing the potential build of a digital pound. So that's really what it comes down to, is we're getting closer and closer and closer to a CBDC. And then it expands upon the EU passes the landmark bill, which is the MICA bill.
Yeah.
And the regulation in its current form will require anyone seeking to issue cryptocurrencies to publish a crypto asset white paper containing information about their project. Now, in that instance, let's say Justin Sun was to have launched Tron in Europe, they would have required that he had an original white paper versus plagiarizing someone else's fucking work and saying, this is my white paper. So it could be good for some investors to have more clarity, especially from these companies that are offering shit illegally.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I hate regulations and shit like that. I do too. I do too. But we're not able to police ourselves. If we were, we wouldn't need regulation. I agree, we don't need it, but people don't know how to fucking police themselves.
We don't.
That's why, I love the ideology of what anarchy represents, but we're not fucking ready for it. People aren't ready to govern themselves. People aren't ready to treat people how they want to be treated. We need to grow up and put our big boy and big girl pants on.
So Julio U says buying one Bitcoin has an upside of 50K plus just in getting back to all-time high. Last bear market, it was 16K to get back to all-time high if you bought one at the bottom.
Yeah, again, I just
past results are not indicative of future performance. That's
like we said. If we have clarity and regulation that we're not a fan of, but we have clarity and regulation that will open the doorway for a lot of financial institutions to come in, and that will be a lot more money coming into crypto. And I think that will surpass the market that we previously experienced.
Yeah, I do think Bitcoin will take out its last all-time high, just not this year. Maybe 24. I can see possibly 24, build a base in 23, get through a lot of the ramifications from the FTX situation and stuff. But I don't.
That was the last thing that this thing is talking about and covering is FTX goes down in flames, and I don't think that there's anything that we need to redigest. I think we've already beat this thing to death. The only thing I was going to do on my channel is more of an update. So what has happened since he got arrested, released, because there is some really fucky details with that. It looks like there was no $250 million bail. It looked like it was pretty much a personal recognizance bond. And Ben Armstrong covered this well. You had Bernie Madoff. He had a certain amount of a bond and he had to put up that amount of collateral. There's not that. The only collateral we think that we know of that was put up with the SBF situation was his parents' home that was supposedly valued at $4 million, which is pretty far off from 250.
Well, not only that, usually you'll have a 10% bond, right? So at least 25 million
which wasn't the case. And then they're paying something like over $10,000 a month for security to make sure his ass is fucking protected because everybody wants to kill him because he fucking stolen for everybody. Now that would be justice, as if a customer just found him.
Like they do over in that's
like the streets
in Dubai and UAE, man. You steal something, you get your hand cut off.
And,
I love it. There's no violence.
Hang them up at the gate. Kill them and hang them up at the gate entrance of the city, so that every time that the new SBF comes in, they get to see this one hung up there. So you don't want to be like that one.
I'm moving to Dubai. No crime, no taxes, sun all day, all night. You hear me? Sun all night. That's how great it is over there. You got the sun at night.
I'm thinking
They got
about
an artificial sun over there in
Austin.
Dubai.
I'm thinking
ladies
about
and gents.
Austin in like, what was it, July or August?
Yeah.
Dubai seems like I would die. I would melt. I would be like white chocolate melting.
Oh man, that's too funny, man. So what are your thoughts? We kind of recap the second half of 2022. What's the major, most pivotal event that happened in the second half of 22 to you?
I mean, obviously FTX bankruptcy, but I think that the tornado cash is the most
I was going to
important
say
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Me too.
If you can hold down the fort for just a quick second, I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Thank you, my friend.
Go ahead.
Let's not
shout
end
out to
though.
everybody. Yeah, no. Shout out to everybody that is tuned in. We're going on 3 hours here, man. I mean, it's the end of the year. Take advantage of it. We're just kicking it, chilling. I know you guys are going to be heading out soon. Just be safe out there in these streets for the New Year's. Don't drink and drive. If you are going to drink, catch a Uber. Catch a Uber. Also, just really quickly, don't forget Bloodalytics. Last day to take advantage of this one here, ladies and gents. 40% off lifetime memberships. And the lifetime membership package is going away altogether tomorrow. So you're getting, not only are you not going to be able to get the lifetime subscription, but you could take advantage of 40% off the lifetime subscription if you get it today. So take advantage of that. We're doing a lot of things in the new year. Going to add new pairs. I got a dashboard that I'm going to be building for you guys so you can take advantage of the movements on other pairs and just have it all in the dashboard format. So I'm working on that. Potentially automated trades as well coming in the new year. One of our members, they're taking care of that and working with them on that. So that's going to be dope. If you can't take advantage of the lifetime subscription, I'm giving 50% off the 6-month and 12-month subscriptions if you deposit at least $1,000 into your Fair Desk account. And that link is in the description of this video. Do that. Sign up. Deposit $1,000 or more. Polkadot, huh? That's funny.
Notice
crazy.
If you read here, it says
Fruity Pebbles. Oh,
well,
magic mushrooms. Mm-hmm.
Belgian chocolate.
Belgian chocolate. All right.
And then this one's berries and cream.
That's dope.
So happy New Year. Happy New Year to me.
Yeah, he's gonna be in the fourth dimension somewhere, y'all, in a couple of hours.
One of those. One of these. Yeah, I'm gonna take one of them, 11, not all of them.
There are 11 dimensions, so he'll be in one of them. Hope he doesn't get stuck.
No, it's four grams of psilocybin per each one.
Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, guys. Again, just real quick, deposit at least $1,000. Send me your UID number via Telegram or email. I would prefer Telegram, and I will generate a 50% off discount for you. All right. Rice TVX also has a discount code for 20% off any of these, and that is Rice.
But why would you use my discount 25 right now when you can use yours and get a bigger discount? So if people are watching this,
the only
people
reason
are watching this today, use Bloods because the sale is going to be ending.
But the only reason they will use yours if they want 25% off the 3-month, because there's no promo code for the 3-month.
Okay, so that's what Rice TVX at checkout.
Rice TVX, was it Rice 25?
Rice 25. Rice 25. I got 25. it. I've got it in the video description.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to double check.
Damn, for weed at Red River, we got GG's. Yeah, man. So,
what are your plans tonight?
I'm not doing anything. I'm staying in the house.
That's cool.
I don't go out.
Are you gonna be awake at 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're not sleeping through the new year, like some old dude.
No, I'll be up.
Word.
My chocolate.
I'm staying home myself. I have enough to keep me occupied.
I see.
Yeah,
we don't want to be hallucinating and driving.
Yeah, and I'm definitely.
Is that worse than drinking and driving? Like if you were to do some shrooms and then try to go drive, is that a problem?
I don't drive hallucinating, but I like to ride hallucinating. And I've been with people that would be hallucinating while they were driving. One of my friends was really good at it, so I would just enjoy being in the car and riding around. It's a pretty interesting experience, but I'm definitely not mixing this with that. So this is going to have to wait, which is fine because rice wine can always wait. Yeah, I don't like to mix liquors and stuff or alcohol when I take.
Okay.
Yeah. Because normally when I do stuff like psychedelics, it's more for like some sort of therapeutic stuff. It's not for recreation and enjoyment. Like, I mean, you can enjoy it, but I just don't take it for that reason. Like, I'm going to be going on a journey tonight inside of myself.
In the 11th dimension.
Yeah, in the 11th dimension inside
Top
of my
dimension.
own body. I get to exit my body and re-enter it in a almost like Reggie Middleton talking to himself in third person.
I might take my first dose of Master Focus. Did
you get it that soon?
I got it last week, actually. It came quick.
Yeah, he gave me a code. I got to order it. I haven't ordered it yet. So shout out to Hotep.
Shout out to Hotep Jesus, Master Focus, his nootropics line. I'm going to pop a couple of those red pills tonight. And I don't know.
Word. Well, man, I really enjoyed it. I couldn't have asked for a better live stream to end off my channel than doing it with you, my friend, my brother from another mother. So I'm glad we got to do this recap together, man.
Absolutely.
And I think it's probably one of the most in-depth 2022 reviews you're going to get from two of the most knowledgeable people in this space. And I say that very proudly to whoever has a YouTube channel who's watching this.
For sure. I'm with you, man. Find Rice over at ricetvx.com, guys. And you can find me at cryptoblood.com or bloodalytics.com. You can do that as well if you're looking into
Is it cryptoblood.com? For some reason, I thought it was IO.
It is cryptoblood.io. I'm just a fool.
Okay, did you not get .com?
No, someone grabbed that years ago.
Oh, they hoodwinked you.
Yeah. So bloodalytics.com, cryptoblood.io. If you want to know more about me, Happy New Year to you as well. The sports hobbyist. Julio, thank you. From a G perspective, thank you. Flynn H, T, Will, Line in the building. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, right? And I mean, any last words, bro? What do you think? Oh, just before I let you go, 2023. What are your takes and what are you planning on doing? And kind of talk to that real quick.
Honestly, man, I mean, I can't expect that we're gonna have like a bad year of cryptocurrency news like we've had in 2022. But I think 2023 is going to be worse because of everything that's happening on a geopolitical, economic landscape. But I don't see crypto itself being like us having more situations like FTX. I think we were going to have one more big fallout, maybe with like we talked about with Grayscale.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's going to be a lot more buying opportunities and things are going to be a lot worse before they get better. And if you're in a position, you could be setting yourself up for something really monumentous in your life. Because I mean, the times to buy is when there's like blood on the street, and whether it's your own blood. And that means like if you look at something like 2008, when everybody was suffering because of what happened with the market crash. But the individuals who had money, like Richard Kiyosaki, who took fucking advantage of that, and it changed his game up. So this is that opportunity for people to actually build real wealth if they have really good strategies and are taking this seriously and looking at the markets the right way. But if you're not in a position, just fucking survive, because I think it's going to be that bad. Is that survival is going to be key. Not to scare people, just to be a realist. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
No, you're being a realist. That's what it's all about. That's why they come here to watch your channel, to watch my channel. They want the real, not what they want to hear.
Now, what I would like to see is that people realize that stuff like Bitcoin and decentralized cryptocurrencies can be that lifeboat for people to jump into. It just has people have to realize that. But until then, like I said, I just think that things on an economic level are just going to get worse. We're going to see a big crash of the system and an ushering of the CBDCs, and a lot of people are going to welcome the CBDCs because of the crash. And that's where I think we need to shape the legislation to make sure that we're not getting an oppressive CBDC that's going to hinder us and give more control to the governments versus us just having a digital asset that we can utilize. There's nothing wrong with easy use, but there is something fucking wrong with the government having all this control.
Yeah.
So that
I would say for me, I would tell people again to invest in yourselves. If you don't have a substantial amount of money to invest in crypto, invest in yourselves first in the new year, and I think you'll have a better ROI going into 24 to really buy a lot of cryptos with a lot of money. So you need money to make money, and I think the years of taking $1,000 or even $5,000 or $10,000 and making millions from crypto, I think those days are for the most part over. So I would rather you put that $1,000 a month or $500 a month into yourself, learn a new skill, learn about AI or do something, okay? Do something to improve yourself so you can earn more money, and then take the newly earned money and invest in crypto. That's my take for you guys.
That's good advice.
It is what it
One thing
is.
I will add though is, I mean, I still feel like there will be opportunities. It's just very far and few between opportunities. So when did we see the rise of Shiba Inu? Was that this year?
Late last year. Remember, because
And if you would have, I think if you would have purchased $100 worth of Shiba Inu back then, it would be worth a hell of a lot more than $100.
Yeah.
That's very similar to buying Bitcoin early.
Yeah, well, actually better. I think the performance was better.
And that might be the case. So I think that there still would be those opportunities, but it was slapping me.
You don't know.
The Shiba Inu shit was slapping me in my face. I kept seeing it. I could have done something. I didn't take it seriously, and I wasn't able to take advantage of that ride. But there are going to be situations where people can take advantage of those rides, and it can be life changing. So I don't think that those days are done, but it's going to be very far and few between is what I'm saying. Because I think we've only had really just one Shiba Inu kind of situation. I mean, have we seen any other coins really that have done what Shiba Inu did in comparison to Bitcoin? So it's just far and few between, but we could have another fucking something like that take place next year. So that's where investing in yourself, time is your most valuable asset. And don't waste your fucking time. That would be the best advice that I would give you, is make sure you're using your most valuable asset wisely. Don't just waste it.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I'm going to play this one again. I played it 2 days ago on the live stream, and I just want to replay this. It was...
Can't hide away from the brutal realities of work.
Let's listen.
That's it. And while we're on the subject, that's actually where these last 2 years have been pure clown world, because I've known some people who have made a bunch of money in crypto, and I've said to them, what you've just gone through, what you've just done is once in a generation, and it's completely ruined you. Because normally if you make, let's say, 200 grand, you have learned lessons to make that 200 grand. Yeah. You've learned marketing, you've learned sales, you've learned how to manage staff, you learn how to deal with pressure, you learn how to be on time, you've learned a bunch of things.
So you can continue it.
So you can continue. And even if you lose all the money, you retain the lessons.
100%.
What have you learned? You bought a coin, it went up. Okay, good. You have not learned a single fucking thing about how money is made, about personal development. You didn't even learn how to have a firm handshake and put on a tie. You learned nothing. You pulled it off. You made a few dollars. You've lost them now. And now the worst thing about it is you think you're too good for work. You think you're so smart now. Yeah. Oh, I made it. This is the next one. You got lucky. Now you think you're too good to actually get up and grind. You think you're just going to pull it off again, another lottery win. And you don't think you have to work very hard. And guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to end up fucking broke, because that's not the reality of the world. That clown world shit is over.
There you go, ladies and gents. The clown world is over. Take it seriously.
I do want to add something. Those guys look like they had some really nice equipment. They look like they had far more superior equipment than what me and you have. And the sound in that room was absolute ass. And I think our sound in our rooms sound better than that recording of that podcast that sounded like he was in a bathroom with a green screen. So shout out to Cobra Take.
That's very true. That's very true.
It was just too echoey. It was awful. For a professional podcast, those guys should be ashamed of themselves for a high profile interview and have it sound like a fucking bathroom with a green screen.
Wisdom bars, you are a fool. That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. But hey, man, that's it, ladies and gents. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. That's the last live stream on CBTV and Rice TVX you're gonna get for 2022, ladies and gents. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Off the Chain episode 92. We out of here. Holla.
See you next year.
Yeah.
That stupid joke. Holla.
Stack my coin, stack my coin. Bitcoin,
Joe.
Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin,
Smoking on everything shot. Surfing through the city while them chips rise. Hot boy, do it big time. Element with my summer bay, we booed up. Cali hit the bay, we fly MIA, we pulled up. Sipping on this drink, bitch, I know the way. We juiced up, nigga violate till it's JFK like your roof up. Coin daddy bout them chips, nigga rap snacks. Face all in a box, nigga Snapchat. Fucking with the ops to get you clapped. No cap, nigga rap.
Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin.
Okay. Ready?
Fucking thing sucks. We'll do it live.
Okay.